Chapter 624, Inverted World, 5. It's petty. Anyone would think so just by looking. However, the moment I realize this fact, a different thought comes to mind. Are they not doing it on purpose to make it look petty? Zwa. This is a wave. A wave visible only to my eyes, refined by acquiring triple divinity, and further honed through Yang pitch and In pitch. Of course, perhaps Hyen Mu or Kim Young-hoon may also be seeing it with similar vision. But for some reason, I feel that their vision is not the same as mine. All of Mount Sumeru is covered by the wave. The wave feels like a strange melody, like grotesque maggots, and like a beautiful symphony of clouds. This is the heart of the entire world. It must be a scene visible only because I, by becoming an innate true immortal through the flawless mantra, by becoming an immortal art that observes all of Mount Sumeru itself, have fused my vision with triple divinity. I see it. And through this, I realize that Guac Am is deliberately choosing not give me the immortal crown. I see. Guac Am. I hear the will of Guac Am that is interwoven between the countless hearts embedded throughout Mount Sumeru. I shall be hated. By the Sumeru 3 heavens great thousand worlds, by all beings, I will be hated. I shall face all the hatred and suffering of all phenomena head-on. Through all that, I will seek repentant enlightenment. I shall honor the spirit of my master and uphold his will. Thus, I shall be hated by you as well. Hate me. I see. A will to be hated by all, and that will create a resolution that demands all beings must hate them. I follow the flow of Brahman nature, Narayana nature, and Mahesvara nature, which circulates throughout the world, and trace Guac Am's heart in reverse to pursue their thoughts. In the group of all beings who must hate Guac Am, I, too, must eventually be included. However, Guac Am reaches the conclusion that I, ultimately, will not be able to hate them. Why? I cannot read any further into Guac Am's heart. If I want to delve deeper into their inner heart, it seems I must further perfect triple divinity. But I can't understand it. I hate Guac Am. That is certain. I still vividly remember when the Wuji religious order was torn apart. The brutality of Guac Am, who annihilated the order in a single strike and personally tore apart the ones I cherished one by one, remains etched in my mind. They are undoubtedly my senior brother, a fellow disciple who served the same master. But that is that. This is this. Even if I respect them as a senior who served our master before me, I cannot forgive them. This hatred I feel toward them does not fade. And yet why? Why on earth would Guac Am come to such a conclusion, and even stoop to such petty acts in order to be hated by me? Someday I'll understand. As I listen to the lingering echoes of the hearts sweeping through the entire world, I think that one day I will uncover Guac Am's inner heart. It is at that very moment. I realize something. And the instant I come to this realization, I understand what it truly means to invert. As I awaken to this truth, I recite the flawless mantra and head toward the next life. I am born, and at the same time, I instinctively know my purpose. I am an innate true immortal, a being who, by existence alone, receives the grace of Mount Sumeru, and in turn must enrich Mount Sumeru to repay that grace. I must, by mere existence, contribute to the system of immortal cultivation. By mere existence, I must strengthen the path to the heavens so that countless others may benefit. That is the reason for my birth. The moment I realize this, I recognize that I must invert. If to be an innate true immortal means to support the system of immortal cultivation, then to invert it is to be its opposite. I shall not contribute to the system of immortal cultivation. I shall not support the world. Rather, I shall devour it. I shall become a being that devours all. Wu Wong. I decide to become a monster that devours everything, including light itself. Self-hatred stirs, but it does not matter. I do not know why, but somehow it feels like this is something I have already done dozens, hundreds of times. At this point, what does it matter if I keep repeating it? However, from deep inside me, I feel a will trying to surface. It is a voice. That is not it. What is that supposed to mean? I ignore the voice and proceed to invert as I originally intended. Let's devour the world and collapse the system of immortal cultivation. That is the true inversion I must carry out. Either way, it's the same. However, I cannot ignore this voice, because the power contained in that voice is binding me with such force that it is forcibly turning my head. This power is something even I, who have become the immortal art that devours the world, cannot possibly disregard. What is this power? Suddenly, I grow curious about the identity of this power. If I keep devouring the world, I think I will be able to remember something I have forgotten. Then I will be able to figure out the identity of this power. But, if I listen to you, it feels like I will lose my memories instead. I speak to the voice. Is it okay to lose those memories? Before I know it, I realize I am facing the owner of the voice deep within the surface of a deep and deep darkness. The owner of the voice is a man in white, reflecting all light. And I am in the form of a man in black, devouring all light. We sit in a lotus position, facing each other and in an inverted state. Only by going against this world can we reclaim ourselves. And yet, you say you will not go against it. Are you saying you will not reclaim us? Do you not understand that if the world itself is inverted, then us becoming inverted is the only way to be normal? Let me ask you one thing. I realize that this figure is another me. Another aspect of myself speaks to me. If you draw a circle on paper and try to move away from one side of that circle by heading in the opposite direction, what happens? What on earth is he trying to say? Yet with his words, a circle draws itself before my eyes. We are inside that circle. Eventually, if you keep going in the opposite direction and reach the far end of the circle, at the center of the circle, there is light. And that light stretches upward and downward from the center of the flat circle, reaching both the place where I stand and where he stands. Pat. Before I know it, the circle we stand on draws a taiji. Is it not the same? It's true. No matter which direction you head toward from the center, you eventually reach the boundary of the circle and take on the same image as the opposite side. O myself, who has received only misfortune and become misfortune itself. I have grown while receiving fortune and virtue, and thought surely blessings await me at the end. But look, even if one is granted fortune and virtue to the extreme and becomes an innate true immortal, contributing to the heavenly path of immortal cultivation, even if one gathers only misfortune to the extreme, becomes misfortune itself, and turns into a monster that shatters immortal cultivation. Whether we become fortune or misfortune, in the end, we all become components, playing the role of an innate true immortal who supports the immortal cultivation system, or inverting that role to collapse the immortal cultivation system. In the end, both are consumed by the role and become components for the sake of the play. The white me seems to want to say just that. The essence of fortune and misfortune is ultimately the same. No matter which extreme one reaches, within this world, one ends up as components. Then, what does it mean to be truly inverted? As one whose essence is inversion, I ask the me in white. I must hear his answer. And the me in white smiles subtly. If misfortune and fortune, if blessings and curses are in truth one and the same, then let us give what we can with compassion, but let us not be lost in it. If we truly wish to invert, then isn't what we must do escaping from the roleplay? Is it not to escape the situation of just being a component? As I listen to those words, I gradually feel the white me and the black me drawing closer to each other. Let us have a heart. A heart? Even if we cannot completely escape from being components, let us not become true components. Let us not forget ourselves within this play. Is that not? Bit by bit, me and I draw closer, and at last, within the pure white light, I feel the existence called me completely become one. What it means to truly stand upright in this inverted world. The moment I realize this, a powerful shiver flows through my entire body. Phenomena extinguishing and flawless are one. Such realization brushes past me for some reason. At the same time, faint memories begin to return, and before my eyes, I begin to faintly see someone. Though the memories have not fully returned, I immediately know who it is. Gu Jui. However, they instantly react against my statement. Master, I am Hong Fan. Please come to your senses. Are you all right? I look at him and smile. Do not worry. From now on, I shall truly enter flawlessness. Master, something is wrong with your condition. Your flawless mantra is unstable. Your comrades are all worried. Master is currently in a strange state right now. Please, escape from that condition immediately. At that moment, an image of the me, newly born this time, reflects in my mind. It is the appearance of me, entirely transformed into a black hole of the universe. I have become a perfect black hole of the universe, but at some point, light bursts out from various parts of the body, making my form unstable. The neat sphere becomes distorted and begins to tremble violently. My comrades stand guard, watching over me with worry. Their hearts seem to transmit a shared will, that they must stop me by force if necessary. Beyond my comrades, numerous true immortals are laughing joyfully, and Hong Fan is using formless poison to enter my consciousness, attempting to stabilize me as a representative. But I smile brightly, tell them not to worry. I always feel sorry toward my comrades. There are too many times when I don't even have the time to explain properly. This moment is no different. From now on, I will. Master. No. Co Eun-hyun. Hong Fan's eyes flip as he charges toward me. In an instant, he invades the depths of my heart essence and grabs hold of the something synchronized with me. My refining void dharma treasure, now refined to the level of an immortal treasure, my memory storage. It is the colorless glass sword. Hong Fan, grasping the colorless glass sword, which is no different from the essence of my glass true fire, screams as if in a fit. Please stop. Stop this right now. What you are trying to do right now is madness. Do not do it. Have you forgotten what this means to you? But even he cannot stop me. I shall truly go against the world. No, watching. I extend my will and shatter my colorless glass sword with a single strike of my own hand. It is not only the colorless glass sword. All of my canvas of myriad forms and connections within it are crushed. All the personalities and fragments of myself that were embedded inside are destroyed and turned to dust. I see Fan screaming in a frenzy. Why would you do this? Is this not your memory, master? Is this not your history? As I feel all my memories scatter, I smile. Do not worry, Fan. This shall become the true path to escape from the bridle. Even if I lose my history, I shall embrace my heart properly. The colorless glass sword is the very history of myself, created by Buk Hianghua. At the same time, it is the collection of all my heartfelt attachments that have followed me my entire life. Without a doubt, it is the sword that proves who I am. But at the same time, it is also the bridle that restrains me. Peng, P-O-B-O-B-O-B-O. Countless fragments of the canvas of myriad forms and connections begin to explode outward. Fan flails his hand in panic, trying to grasp the shattered pieces. What are you doing? In the end, isn't this an act of losing yourself? You will no longer be you. But nothing lands in Fan's hands. Fan, I continue speaking without losing my smile. With every word I utter, memories scatter further. However, this is not necessarily because the canvas of myriad forms and connections is breaking apart, but rather because I am simply aligning the mind of my reincarnated self with a standard to faithfully play my role. All things that possess form eventually must wither. Even if form withers, was it not your very intention in creating the canvas of myriad forms and connections to preserve that history? Even if it is a cradle of repeating memories, is it not something you should cherish and hold close? Fan, listen. I gently close my eyes. Only now do I realize. Of course, there is still so much to comprehend, and I remain far too lacking. Even so, this much I have come to understand. I recall the enlightenment I gained while observing Guak Am's heart, watching as they try to achieve repentant enlightenment across the entire world. And I share that with Fan. Guak Am realized that, in the end, I would not come to hate them. Why do you think that is? The great mountain supreme deity is, in some ways, terrifying to a chilling degree. Even if they couldn't read my canvas of myriad forms and connections, they read what lies within me. To the family of the Wuji religious order, I feel sorry for saying this, but there was once a person I hated more than the great mountain supreme deity. It was Yuan Li. The number of people Yuan Li killed was fewer than the Wuji religious order, and the divine power he showed compared to the great mountain supreme deity was that of a bug. But why did I hate him more than the great mountain supreme deity? Because I had been far younger than when I lost the Wuji religious order. I had yet to properly cultivate my heart, had not endured countless years, and was still a green novice. So even though I lost more during the time of the great mountain supreme deity, it was during the time of Yuan Li that I nearly fell into true corruption, unable to restrain my heart. Most of all, the biggest difference between the time of Yuan Li and the time of the great mountain supreme deity was Buk Hianghua. Was what I just gave you also a curse? That single sentence, and the final kiss we shared, it still has not faded from within my heart. Even if I were to be cast into isolation and spend time alone equivalent in years to the number of grains of sand of the Ganges River, 10 sextillion, that alone I would never be able to forget. The heart she gave me became my support. Even when the entire canvas of myriad forms and connections was completely shattered by the great mountain supreme deity, that alone I was unable to forget. That is why, even though I poured out curses in that cycle, I did not end up fundamentally twisted as I nearly did during the time of Yuan Li. A person's heart, and the great mountain supreme deity Guak Am must have come to know this in the end. Of course, it's not as if they pierced through my heart through pure martial doctrine like me, Kim Young-hoon, or Hien Mu. From the beginning, the supervisory I bestowed upon Han One was theirs. When it comes to immortal arts that pierce through things, they already reached the peak. Never disappears. I shout what I have realized. Guak Am likely did not see clearly. They probably merely saw the support that Buk Hianghua left within my heart, and tried, using petty, dirty tricks, to tear it down through whatever means. But rather, it is thanks to Guak Am that I have come to understand. The heart never disappears, and nothing can truly contain the heart. Pardon, I was mistaken. I thought that by reenacting those moments through my clones, by continuing them endlessly, the hearts from that time would also become eternal. But now I know. No, perhaps I should say I've revisited the truth once more. TL notes. The word revisited in this case is the same word as inverted. I smiled brightly with my eyes closed. Had I not already realized it when I rose to 5 energies converging to the origin? A person's heart is infinite. Nothing can truly express what the heart is. not established by words or speech. And do. That is why, even with the canvas of myriad forms and connections, it is impossible to express or properly remember the boundless hearts I received. Form will disappear, but those very hearts will remain within me, unwithering, and they will shape who I am. What is that even? Only now do I understand. Among my many realms, I scatter and begin to recondense the heavenly being stage. The cultivation of the heavenly being stage never needed madness. Gathering madness in the cultivation of the heavenly being stage was merely to prevent a person's mind from being consumed and perishing by the vast nature of heaven and earth. To keep the mind from being swept away by the nature of heaven and earth, one concentrates a part of it to the extreme. That is the cultivation of the heavenly being stage. But I have the canvas of myriad forms and connections. As I scatter this, which makes up the greatest part of my madness, I come to realize a person's heart itself is the most bizarre and mysterious embodiment created by heaven and earth. By its very existence, it is not inferior to the nature of heaven and earth. Pasisasasaza. As the canvas of myriad forms and connections scatters, my very realm scatters, and my very existence begins to scatter and disappear. As I meld into the world, I begin cultivating the flawless mantra. Gradually, my memories as me submerge, and I become a new existence. I see Feng fidgeting restlessly. Master, why are you? That is the last thing I see before I fully melt into the world. Pat, the body of this lifetime, in the form of a black hole of the universe, explodes completely. Scattering into countless fragments of light, I melt throughout the entirety of the purple lotus realm. At the same time, the color of the entire purple lotus realm changes. The color of the purple lotus realm, once like a purple lotus flower, turns white. The space, once corroded by the chaos of the inner sea beyond the heavenly domain, is now eroded again by my very existence. What was once the world of purple lotus is now becoming the world of white magnolia. The scattered colorless glass sword and the canvas of myriad forms and connections dye the world. At the same time, I, who was born as an innate true immortal, am reborn as an entering nirvana true person in a corner of the purple lotus realm. Tukwang. From beyond a distant star cluster, a heaven upper immortal under black dragon throws a single strike that pierces through me. Hualong. I am pierced and annihilated by that single strike. But even as I vanish, I smile. Though I have no memory, I can smile with nothing but the heart engraved within my chest. Until now, the will I held while cultivating the flawless mantra was to grow stronger for everyone's goal. In a way, a rather vague will. But now, only now does this will change. To something far simpler, yet far more powerful. Protect the family. That one will alone. At the same time, I, now dead, become a sacrificial offering that twists the very laws of the world. Karuru. Along with my death, my will envelopes my comrades. Already powerful to begin with, my comrades are now protected by the power of the white magnolia world, and within this realm, they become even closer to invincible. With that, I close my eyes. That is my 501st reincarnation. Do you remember who I am? Someone asks from in front of me, wearing a dark blue robe, radiating a strength now at the level of a judge. She looks at me and asks. No memory comes to mind. It feels like the storage vault where I once held memories had burst open. My mind feels like a blank sheet of paper. But I smile. Even if I have no memories, this heart is surely within me. The heart the being before me once gave me is still here inside. The moment I recall her, every memory I shared with her resurfaces. At the same time, centered around those memories of her, all of my memories revive as well. Don't worry. As long as you are all by my side, I will never forget. I smile brightly at her. The canvas of myriad forms and connections is not destroyed. Its form has merely changed. From a mist only I can see, it has become a flawless garment that truly resides within my family, protecting them. The canvas of myriad forms and connections and the colorless glass sword have changed. From tools that merely revisited my failures and remembered old memories, they have now become a true sword that brings miracles into reality and protects my family. The canvas of myriad forms and connections has merged with the flawless mantra, becoming both bridle and law that is worn upon the family I wish to protect. Yes, an immortal crown. What I gave to my comrades is practically an immortal crown forged from the will of my sacrifice. The myriad forms and the flawless have met to form the immortal crown. It is said that the immortal crowns existing in this world are created through the origin controlled by supreme deities and heavenly venerables. Then, what is the origin of the immortal crowns I have bestowed upon them? Surely, it is the hearts we have exchanged. As long as the hearts my comrades gave me remain, as long as they are by my side, I will protect them, and as long as I seek to protect them, I will never forget them. Even if the form known as memory is forgotten, The heart alone will remain and pave the way for my fate. Didn't you not give me an immortal crown, senior brother? Thinking of Guak Am, who must be somewhere in the outer sea, I slowly embrace Kong Min. Thud. Our foreheads touch for a moment. A heart of pure affection, without lust or desire, is conveyed to her. At the same time, the form of my immortal crown clearly reveals itself. Then I don't need one, senior brother. I will make my own. However, I will not wear it myself. Pat it. It is a paper flower. I don't need what is given by someone else. As long as I have something to give to my family, that is enough. A white magnolia and a quince flower, two paper flowers, are threaded together. Extending from behind Kong Minhe's head in several strands, they wrap around her body and attach themselves to various parts of her clothing. Because, just by becoming my family, I've already received grace that must be repaid by scattering the immortal crown to protect. Royal bestowed flower, just by repaying that retribution, just by giving and receiving hearts and forming a connection. The immortal crown created through the canvas of myriad forms and connections and the flawless mantra, born from the hearts and connections given and received, takes the form of a royal bestowed flower suited to each individual. I have already donned the greatest immortal crown called connection. Having fully gifted the royal bestowed flowers upon my family, I now begin to step forward boldly into the next life. From now on, I will lose my memories often, but it doesn't matter. If, until now, my memories remained undying as long as the colorless glass sword existed, then from this moment on, with its form shattered and fully embraced within my heart, my memories will remain undying so long as my family is by my side. And thus, I begin to carry on the true cultivation of flawlessness. Translator notes, Royal bestowed flower, is a paper flower bestowed upon those who passed the civil exam during the Joseon dynasty. I recommend searching it up to see what it looks like. Chapter 625, Royal Authority, 1. I die. I am reborn. I recall my family. I offer myself as a sacrificial offering for the sake of my family. The more I offer, the safer my family becomes. I repeat the actions above. And the power of the immortal art that arises from offering myself as a sacrificial offering is, in itself, akin to an innate true immortal. Therefore, this can rightfully be called the cultivation of Yang Pitch. However, as I continue to offer myself as a sacrifice for my comrades, my cultivation realm gradually falls. Yet even as my cultivation falls, my heart to sacrifice only grows greater, so no matter how many times I die, the Yang Pitch cultivation is never left undone. Every time, I offer myself as a sacrificial offering, layering the immortal art that protects my family, even going as far as consuming the fortune I've accumulated to create an innate true immortal. The stronger the protective power becomes, the more my fortune diminishes, and the more my cultivation drops. 550th cycle. I reach the sacred vessel stage. But I do not care. No matter how many times I die and am reborn, what I must do is clear. Protect my family. My comrades willingly became my family and protected me. Now I shall protect them. Regardless of how many times I die. The more I die, and the more I layer the power of the immortal crown upon them, the weaker the power of the true immortals coming from outside becomes. Of course, even with that weakened strength, I die endlessly. But it doesn't matter. Because now, even if I die and die again, I will only keep strongly protecting my comrades. I constantly recite the flawless mantra, protecting what I wish to protect by my own will, not as a component of the world. And because that goes against the principles of the world, my mastery of the flawless mantra continues to rise without end. 600th cycle. My cultivation falls to the star-shattering stage. Before I know it, the attacks of the true immortals barely reach me anymore. But why is it? I keep dying sudden deaths without ever reaching the end of my lifespan. It is not due to the attacks of true immortals, nor their prophecies, nor revision. In every life, I put all my effort to understanding the cause of these sudden deaths. Time flows and flows. And finally, the 666th cycle. The cultivation of the flawless mantra. Its end draws near. TSDS. My current cultivation has fallen to the integration stage. Originally, I could have gained sufficient authority through this and ended the cultivation of the flawless mantra here. But I do not do so. 666 past lives is, quite literally, the minimum unit. Through 666 reincarnations, one can gain substantial control over the flawless mantra. However, it cannot be fully mastered. Thus, I continue my cultivation in order to completely grasp the flawless mantra. The canvas of myriad forms and connections was absorbed into the flawless mantra and became an immortal crown. For the sake of my family, who have received the immortal crown from me, I cannot allow myself to leave the flawless mantra unmastered. Kururum. Then, when I have reached the end of my 666th life, this is, before I know it, I realize I have arrived at a strange place. Yet, it is also a familiar place. This place, yes, a place filled with a crimson sea of blood and a mountain of corpses. It's the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea. I become aware of the one who summoned me into this world. So it was you. Oh Hyaccio. A familiar woman sits before me. And behind me, I hear the heavy breath of a sinister presence. You were the one who pushed them to attack us. In front of me is Oh Hyaccio, and behind me is the true body of the immortal beast Black Dragon. That's right. From the very beginning, Black Dragon had not simply attacked us. They came after joining hands with Oh Hyaccio to kill us. Oh Hyaccio smiles with gloomy eyes. Yeah, that's right. I hate you, Xiao Unhyun, because you killed Xiao Huiol, and because the great mountain supreme deity has been constantly making a fit, telling me to shove the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea into your mouth. That's why while you were cultivating the flawless mantra, I joined hands with Black Dragon and made them attack you. I tried to shove the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea down your throat while you were reincarnating. Of course, if there was a problem, it's that I didn't expect the others to become that strong. I calmly look at Oh Hyaccio. Oh Hyaccio. What? I see. So that is your tainted soul filling the heavens. I glance at Oh Hyaccio's shadow and let out a bitter smile. Her shadow is not her own. It clearly belongs to a man with deer antlers. Yes, her shadow belongs to Xiao Huiol. You used tainted soul filling the heavens as a medium to summon me to this place. It's ironic. Oh Hyaccio, who once longed so desperately to revive Xiao Huiol, has long surpassed Xiao Huiol's in terms of tainted soul filling the heavens. Even I didn't even realize I was afflicted by tainted soul filling the heavens until I saw that shadow. I see. You tied a piece of tainted soul filling the heavens to Black Dragon and attached it to me when I inherited the bloodline of the Black Dragon race and became their crown prince in my second life. That's right. And that tainted soul filling the heavens has been constantly clinging to me all along and followed me. The recent unexplained sudden deaths I experienced were also. Yeah, even for you. This would have been impossible to detect. Your sudden deaths were the result of me and Black Dragon combining our strength. It is no wonder I didn't realize. Her tainted soul filling the heavens, evolved through Xiao Huiol's inheritance, moves in a manner extremely similar to the Northern Dipper sealing immortal flag. Once it clings to a target, it fully merges with them. But once it merges, it no longer listens to the original master's commands. Instead, the original owner imprints a single command into the tainted soul filling the heavens, and as time passes, that command becomes more deeply etched into the assimilated target. That is what I uncovered in my past life about Oh Hyaccio's tainted soul filling the heavens. While I was trapped in the crystal glass realm by Hyan Mu, she only embedded tainted soul filling the heavens into Inye's family. Because of that, I could not sense its secrecy, but now that I've experienced it firsthand, I understand. Her tainted soul filling the heavens has already evolved far beyond Xiao Huiol's. I smile bitterly as I watch her. Oh Hyaccio, wasn't your goal to resurrect Xiao Huiol? That's right. Then you'll never be able to bring Xiao Huiol back to life. At my words, Oh Hyaccio's eyes twitch. But this isn't mere spiteful talk. It is a truth visible to my eyes, who has reached a considerable level in triple divinity. That is, Xiao Huiol, who was tainted soul filling the heavens itself, has already died and reincarnated somewhere else. And the tainted soul filling the heavens, which could at least be called a remnant of Xiao Huiol, has evolved and become completely different from the original Xiao Huiol. The more Oh Hyaccio runs around trying to resurrect Xiao Huiol, the more her tainted soul filling the heavens evolves and deviates from the original Xiao Huiol. And the more this continues, the exponentially lower the chance becomes that, even if she finds Xiao Huiol's spirit someday, she'll be able to restore the Xiao Huiol of that time. I'm giving you advice, Oh Hyaccio. If you want to resurrect Xiao Huiol, let go of your obsession with him. At least for you. Letting go of him will help you bring him back. Shut up. Immediately after, Oh Hyaccio's Corpse Mountain Blood Sea moves and lashes at me. My main body is still in the Purple Lotus realm, now transformed into the White Magnolia realm, and I've been pulled here in the middle of cultivating the flawless mantra, so the power of my spirit is only at the integration stage. It feels like I'll be shattered to pieces by that immense force. But it's useless. I operate triple divinity with extreme precision, fully perceiving all the hearts within that immense force, and let the power flow past me completely. It's useless, Oh Hyaccio. You cannot harm me. Woo-woo. At least, within the immortal Tao of the mountain, she cannot dare to harm me. Enough with the pointless mental warfare. Just tell me what you want. Swearick. I meticulously refine my intent to the utmost, and shoot it into Oh Hyaccio's heart. Her very origin as a true immortal falls into my grasp in an instant. I don't like you. The emotions I feel toward you are, at best, irritation, annoyance, and disgust. Ever since I found out you were the one controlling Black Dragon from behind, all I felt toward you is the urge to kill you on the spot. Right now, if I so wished, I could inflict a fatal wound on her. So don't try anything. The only reason I am not attacking you is because you are Hyunsuk Hyungnim's niece. Perhaps realizing that, Oh Hyeseo's face twitches. Yeah, the gap between us just doesn't seem to close. Even though your actual cultivation should only be at the peak of upper immortal, to think you are at this level. Fine, I'll tell you my goal. At her next words, I realize what's been happening in Mount Sumeru. Some time ago, the Radiance Hall that returned from the Outer Sea began to go on a rampage. Right now, they are waging war against the entire Sumeru Three Heavens Great Thousand Worlds, destroying countless true immortals. Though the Radiance 8 Immortals and Radiance Hall are still allied for now. According to Black Dragon, once Radiance Hall comes into contact with the truth of Radiance Hall, even they will eventually turn away from the Radiance 8 Immortals. However, a revelation came from the Great Mountain Supreme Deity. She smiles unsettlingly and looks up at the sky. Radiance Hall, or whatever. All of Mount Sumeru, or whatever. They say it is all meaningless against the true power of the Radiance 8 Immortals. If the Heavenly Venerable of Time were still around, there might have been a possibility, but with just the two Heavenly Venerables of Void and Saltree, there's no way to stand against the Radiance 8 Immortals. So, I coldly look at her and ask, what are you saying? That my comrades and I should join the war against the Radiance 8 Immortals? I speak firmly. If that is what you're about to ask, then I refuse. I will never put my family in danger. Family, huh? Oh Hyeseo makes a gloomy expression at my words and lets out a sneer. You're obsessed with something meaningless. Think whatever you want. Ho ho, well fine. But it's not the kind of request you're worried about. It's something else entirely. The Great Mountain Supreme Deity said this. That if we end up fighting the Radiance 8 Immortals, the reason we would lose is because we only have 2 Heavenly Venerables. They said that if there were 3 Heavenly Venerables, we might have a chance, but with just 2, it's impossible. Which means, in the end, we just need 1 more Heavenly Venerable. So you're saying, you intend to call upon the Heavenly Venerable of Time? Or involve the Heavenly Venerable of the Underworld? Aha, still such poor imagination. Or rather, should I say it's because of your lack of knowledge that your imagination is so limited? Oh Hyeseo chuckles and speaks. We will exalt a Heavenly Venerable. And the candidate has already been decided. Horroric. Before I know it, Black Dragon's true body, which had been behind me, flies over to Oh Hyeseo's side and transforms. Their transformation form, cloaked in darkness, wraps an arm around Oh Hyeseo's shoulders and lifts her chin. She is truly such a lovely child. Kukuk. If only she weren't the disciple of the Great Mountain Supreme Deity, I would have formed a Tao companion bond with her right away. What a shame. As I read the hearts between the two of them, I understand their thoughts. Yes, it is this immortal. This immortal shall become a Heavenly Venerable. Thus, we shall win the war ignited by the Radiance 8 Immortals, and together with the power of the other Heavenly Venerables, one day block the Great Mountain Supreme Deity, who will invade Mount Sumeru, and rule all of Mount Sumeru under this immortal's authority seat. The glorious enthronement of the Great Black Dragon. This girl longs for it with all her heart. Oh Hyeseo, with the enraptured expression of a girl in love, seductively caresses the transformation form enveloped in darkness. I sneer as I watch the two of them. Their hearts grip blades, pressing it into the other's mouth, while they speak words of affection with their lips alone. It isn't even like the relationship between Seo Huiol and Oh Hyeseo. Between Seo Huiol and her, at the very least they valued each other. Black Dragon, however, sees Oh Hyeseo as nothing more than a pill they plan to consume someday. And Oh Hyeseo thinks only of using Black Dragon's body as a vessel to one day resurrect Seo Huiol. Enough with the flirting. Just explain. I turn to Black Dragon and ask, Oh Black Dragon, at best, you seem to be at the level of an immortal lord, and you don't seem close to being a supreme deity. Yet in that state, how do you expect to become a Heavenly Venerable? Should you not be first preparing for your enthronement as a supreme deity? Why are you already making this laughable claim about becoming a Heavenly Venerable? Ha ha. Indeed, to someone who knows nothing, it may look that way. Allow me to enlighten you. Heavenly Venerables and Supreme Deities, in truth, are a little different from the usual concept of realms. From the mouth of Black Dragon, the explanation of the Heavenly Venerable realm begins. Chapter 626, Royal Authority, 2. Heavenly Venerables and Supreme Deities are not realms. Correct. Or more precisely, they are technically realms. Heavenly Venerable being a higher realm than Supreme Deity is also true. However, it is slightly different from the concept of realms as we know them. It is a realm, but rather than a realm, it is closer to a position. Black Dragon continues explaining with a sinister glint in their eyes. The most accurate way to describe a heavenly venerable is a ruler who governs a nation. In other words, it is close to being a king, but one who does not require a successor and governs an eternal, undying nation. Then how is that different from a supreme deity? The difference between a supreme deity and a heavenly venerable is ultimately a matter of authority. Authority? If we compare it to your human race's concept of a nation, a supreme deity is a superhuman, Charan. A revered figure respected by the masses, someone who has achieved great accomplishments in a certain field and is acknowledged by all as the authority in that field. Then what is a heavenly venerable? A heavenly venerable is a divine human, Feng. Going beyond being respected by the masses, they are acknowledged by all, not only holding authority in a specific field, but firmly instilling authority upon everyone, and being elevated as a ruler of the masses. From the explanation, it sounds like the difference between a university professor and a politician. If a supreme deity is one who has completely seized an origin essence, a heavenly venerable is a being who has gone beyond that and accepted the power of all of Sumeru. Ultimately, that's what it is. Black dragon grins with ambition gleaming in their eyes. If one engraves their feet upon Mount Sumeru and accepts its power, then even without becoming a supreme deity, one can become a heavenly venerable directly from the level of an immortal lord. Is that really possible? Of course, there are representative examples. Isn't the true martial great emperor, Hien Mu, such a case? Look at Hien Mu. Though they are merely in the realm of a heaven and earth great net, they follow the heaven path of radiance and the earth path of underworld, and through the immortal crowns received from each ruler, they exert the power of an immortal lord. With that alone, they engraved their feats and became a heavenly venerable, did they not? Even at the level of an immortal lord, if one engraves their feats, they can become a heavenly venerable. Of course, compared to becoming a heavenly venerable as a supreme deity, this is unorthodox. However, this immortal is not the first who has attempted such a path. Black Dragon spreads their arms wide, laughing maniacally. Those who reach heavenly venerable through the unorthodox in this way, they are all called heavenly kings. The obsidian devil heavenly king, who gave birth to the swallowing heaven supreme deity of the twin, holding heavenly domain. The recently fallen Tridacna, vast cold heavenly king. All those heavenly kings are ones who reached the realm of governing immortal through the unorthodox method. However, unlike Hien Mu, who endured long in that position and truly engraved themselves upon the world, the others quickly fell. This immortal is different. This immortal shall rise to the seat of a heavenly king, endure in that position, continue engraving this immortal's feats upon Mount Sumeru, and like Hien Mu, rise to the genuine seat of a heavenly venerable. Black Dragon clenches their fists, trembling. Come, join hands with this immortal. When you witness this immortal's rise to heavenly venerable, you too may find hope. One day, you may also establish feats and prepare your path to rise as a heavenly venerable. I look at Black Dragon for a moment. Leaving aside the fact that they don't seem to know much about the Seven Brilliances Kings, they also seem unfamiliar with Hien Mu's triple divinity, so I have no idea how to respond. Yet for some reason, not just Black Dragon, but even Hyesio, who could have sought wisdom from the great mountain supreme deity, seems to affirm Black Dragon's goal. Leaving aside things like the Seven Brilliances Kings and triple divinity, what that guy is saying doesn't seem wrong. It seems somewhat true that by engraving one's feats upon Mount Sumeru, one can receive its power and become a heavenly venerable. Her authority is fundamentally about discerning the truth and mocking it, so I suppose part of it should be true. However, even if their words are true, there is something that must be addressed. Do not misunderstand. Ying. I gather the jade of yin-yang and 5 elements before my eyes with an indifferent gaze. Previously, I had already mastered more than 90% of the phenomena extinguishing mantra, and now I stand on the verge of complete control. Now, I no longer need to recite the mantra. The power of the mantra activates in response to my will alone. Shwaririk. At the same time, the power of the flawless mantra, accumulated over 666 cycles, begins to rotate around the jade of the phenomena extinguishing mantra. The phenomena extinguishing mantra and the flawless mantra. Sensing the two mantras, Black Dragon and Hyesio widen their eyes and raise their auras. Quarurum. As two beings at the great immortal rank and above begin to draw upon their power, reality starts distorting violently, and the surrounding flow of history begins to be crushed. But I divert all their pressure through triple divinity. No matter how much they distort reality or crush the flow of history, they cannot affect me in the slightest. I continue speaking calmly. You lot have killed me throughout hundreds of lives and threatened my family. The only reason I'm even pretending to listen to your stories right now is simply because that Hyesio over there is the partner of my fellow Taoist and the niece of my brother. Wake up, Black Dragon. Kugagagugagu. The power of flawlessness and phenomena extinguishing responding to my will begins to distort the very space-time of the corpse mountain blood sea that O highest Yo summoned me to. You unbelievable. What is this mastery of the phenomena extinguishing mantra? How can the phenomena extinguishing mantra be bowing its head so deeply to a mere upper immortal? O highest Yo is aghast, and even Black Dragon takes a half step back with an awkward laugh. My realm may be that of a heaven-earth upper immortal, but if I bring my main body here, I am more than confident that I could beat you bastards to death right now. Of course, if O highest Yo stays in the Earth Axis heavenly domain and pursues a defensive battle with Gwackam's trash, it might be difficult. But for someone like you, Black Dragon, I'm more than confident I can come find you anytime and crush you bit by bit. Haha, sorry to say, but this immortal's immortal vein is quite extensive. If you try to harm this immortal, countless true immortals will. Silence. I cut them off coldly, my face like ice. There used to be someone named Seo Huiol. Your weight class, vision, and experience may be a bit broader and deeper than his, but your fundamental scheming and insidiousness doesn't even come close to a fraction of his. And I fought and won against such a person. Even if you band together with a few true immortals and try to take me on, someone like you doesn't scare me in the slightest. Though Oh Hyeseo's face remains unchanged at my words, I can see her heart essence shaking violently. Black Dragon, on the other hand, seems to take a blow to their pride and glares at me with a furious voice. Seo Huiol, are you comparing this immortal to some unheard-of piece of trash? This immortal is the Een Dragon, Ying, of the universe. The one who governs Great Een, Ting, Tain. The one who will one day become a heavenly venerable. The entire universe dances in the palm of this immortal's hand, rivaling even that of the fallen guiding envoy of the final age of Dharma Purple Gold Heavenly Lord. This immortal is the shadow of Mount Sumeru itself. And yet, with what confidence do you dare insult this immortal with the name of such trash? I glance briefly at O Hyaseo. As expected, her expression remains unchanged, but her gaze has deepened. Her once slightly chilling demeanor now seems utterly devoid of emotion. With a doll-like smile, her heart essence burns with a hatred toward Black Dragon. Hat is difficult to describe with words. Please stop there, Senior Black Dragon. No matter what, we need to persuade him, don't we? She smiles subtly with lifeless eyes and seductively leans into Black Dragon's arms, whispering, My apologies. This immortal got a little agitated, having my pride provoked using the name of some unknown mortal. Oh Hyaseo only smiles slightly and burrows deeper into Black Dragon's embrace. Let us return to the previous discussion. Very well. First, I offer an apology for attacking you and your comrades. However, none of your companions have been harmed thus far, and you yourself were in the midst of cultivating the flawless mantra, so you did not die. I ask for your understanding. If you were displeased, I will provide compensation later. Well, I suppose I'm ready to talk a little now. Good, thank you. Then allow me to properly propose a deal. Black Dragon extends their hand toward me. This immortal knows the advancement ritual of the Heavenly Venerable of Void. And through that advancement ritual, this immortal has also created another advancement ritual suited to this immortal. And if you, who have cultivated the flawless mantra, and O Hyaseo, who possesses the corpse mountain blood sea and has cultivated the phenomena extinguishing mantra, assist me, then this immortal can reenact the advancement ritual devised in reference to that of the Heavenly Venerable of the Void and rise to the position of a Heavenly Venerable. The Heavenly Venerable of Voids. Heavenly Venerable advancement ritual? And you're saying you've made your own ritual as well? Are the advancement rituals different for each Heavenly Venerable? That seems to be the case. The most orthodox method is the world devouring of the Heavenly Venerable of Time and the Sao Tree Heavenly Venerable. It is the process of endlessly devouring the beings of the immortal family residing in Mount Sumeru over time. If one continues to devour the beings of the immortal family, and eventually devours the very system of immortal cultivation itself, one can then merge with the system and rise to become a Heavenly Venerable. Then what about the Heavenly Venerable of the underworld? That being's method is unknown even to this immortal. They are far too ancient. All I know is that their method is completely different from that of Void, Time, or Saltree. Is that so? Then, what is the advancement ritual of the Heavenly Venerable of Void? Black Dragon smiles faintly and begins to speak. And upon hearing the Heavenly Venerable advancement ritual of the Heavenly Venerable of Void, I am horrified. What is that? Is it not horrifying? Compared to simply devouring beings of the immortal family or a part of the world like Saltree or Time, this is an utterly deranged advancement ritual beyond comparison. Only now do I understand why the Heavenly Venerable of Void is specialized in the triple divinity of destruction. The the heavenly venerable of void. The advancement ritual of the true martial great Emperor Hien Mu is as follows. One uses one's own power to wage war against the entirety of Mount Sumeru. Then, after killing or driving out all beings within Mount Sumeru into the outer sea, one turns the inside of Mount Sumeru into a world of emptiness where no one remains. It matters not whether they are governing immortals, true immortals, mortals, or microorganisms. After annihilating or expelling all things of all phenomena outside the world and reducing the entire world to nothingness, one recognizes themselves as the sole existence within and commits suicide, embodying the emptiness that blankets the whole of Mount Sumeru. By doing so, a law is inscribed upon Mount Sumeru, and the one who completes that ritual becomes a heavenly venerable. Faced with such an utterly deranged method of advancement, I can only be dumbfounded. But then, I suddenly notice a strange contradiction in their words. What is it? Something about what they said doesn't make logical sense. However, no matter how hard I think, I can't figure out what the contradiction is. For now, I decide to firmly remember that there is a contradiction and speak to Black Dragon. So, are you saying we need to wage war against all of Mount Sumeru? Of course not. This immortal is not a madman like the true martial great emperor. Didn't this immortal say there is a ritual this immortal created in reference to voids? Black Dragon speaks with a sinister smile. I have investigated Hien Mu's advancement ritual for tens of millions of years, and as a result, I have come to understand. There is no need to perform an advancement ritual on the scale of Hien Mu's. It can be on a somewhat smaller scale. All living beings of Mount Sumeru, except for true immortals and governing immortals, all mortal beings shall be annihilated. Then, upon that dead land where no living beings remain, this immortal shall once again cause life to flourish. This immortal shall recreate all living beings across all of Mount Sumeru. This immortal shall redraw the blueprint of all life on Mount Sumeru and inscribe this great feat upon it. Though it may not compare to Hien Mu, who expelled even all beings of the immortal family. Even this much is enough for this immortal to become a heavenly venerable. Black Dragon smiles with gleaming eyes, their mouth stretching and ripping. Join hands with this immortal. The advancement ritual of this great pitch, Dainu, which shall drive all races in Mount Sumeru to extinction, is only possible when the Radiance 8 immortals and all the true immortals are distracted, fighting in battle. You are the only one since that time to achieve great completion in the mantra of the Obsidian Devil Heavenly King. If it's you, even though you may not be able to recreate the immortal art of the Obsidian Devil Heavenly King, you will be able to control the Swallowing Heaven Supreme Deity. If Ohisyo triggers the Swallowing Heaven Supreme Deity using the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea, and you control the rampaging Swallowing Heaven Supreme Deity, then this immortal and Ohisyo can draw in only the mortal beings of Mount Sumeru, making the extinction of all its living beings possible. Extinguish life, and witness the rebirth of all living beings under the hands of this immortal. Black Dragon suddenly seems to shift their form in the darkness, then approaches me with the bewitching voice of a woman, whispering, "We can obtain everything. The time is only now, when the great war of Radiance Hall is waging and the great mountain supreme deity is trying to forge their mantra of madness. If not during this era of chaos, there will be no other chance to bring extinction upon the living of Mount Sumeru. What do you desire? Take this immortal's hand. This immortal will become a king." As if trying to seduce me, they whisper in the voices of men, women, beasts, elderly, and even that of grasshoppers. Until now, all the heavenly venerables of Mount Sumeru have reigned, but not ruled. What kind of nonsense is that? Sitting atop the heads of all living beings, toying with them while presiding over their life and death, yet having no concern in the justice of Mount Sumeru. In truth, it has only been the deranged Radiance 8 immortals who have ruled Mount Sumeru. But their ideology, you know it too, do you not? They are mad, trampling upon the entire immortal family and cultivation. They are lunatics who believe that only their 8 immortals represent justice and that they can eternally carry out the rule of sage kings. That is why, if this immortal becomes a heavenly venerable, this immortal shall not only reign, but rule. Black Dragon becomes a river of darkness and envelopes me, groping at my body and spirit. But unlike the mad Radiance 8 immortals, I will not pursue their kind of goal. I shall rule the world with justice as my sole purpose. If the Radiance 8 immortals realize their ultimate goal, no one will be able to control them. But if this immortal becomes king, then the other heavenly venerables will remain, and so will the governing immortals. This immortal can be controlled. So help me. Beyond the river of darkness groping my spirit, something falls into my grasp. That is the core of this immortal, the key that can detonate all of this immortal's prophecies and revisions at once. You could say it is the heart of this immortal. I will give it to you. If you ever find this immortal's plan displeasing, detonate it. This immortal only wishes to protect Mount Sumeru, the cradle of all, from the mad Radiance 8 immortals, and the even madder Great Mountain Supreme Deity. Shurururuk. Having finished speaking, Black Dragon returns to their transformation form of darkness and stands beside Ohiasio. Please, accept our proposal. If you accept, then we will no longer have any reason to attack you or your comrades. Did you not say you wanted to protect your family? If you truly wish to protect your family and yourself, then this immortal's proposal is surely of value. Please, help us and let us realize justice together. They spread their arms wide, shouting as if pleading. Please, allow this immortal to attain royal authority, Wangchen. This immortal shall become king, Wang, for true justice and goodness. I look at the thing in my hand that is called the heart of Black Dragon. I feel it. Contained within is immense evidence of Black Dragon's history, revision, and prophecy. I can't say for sure whether detonating what's inside will truly kill Black Dragon, but it is clear that it will cause serious damage. If I had only seen this, I might have believed they were truly pleading for the safety and justice of Sumeru Mountain. But in the next moment, I crush Black Dragon's heart without hesitation. Watching. As this lump containing Black Dragon's prophecy and revision bursts apart, the space of the Corpse Mountain and Blood Sea and the entirety of Mount Sumeru seems to vibrate. I look at Black Dragon. Black Dragon's eyes have turned as cold as ice, and they are completely unharmed. I see that and sneer. I could barely stand hearing your bullshit from earlier, but I listened to the end, wondering if there might have been a shred of sincerity. But really, there's not a single bit of sincerity in you. Tutuduk. I dust off my hand that crushed Black Dragon's heart and speak. The heart Black Dragon spoke of definitely exists. It really is something connected to their prophecy, revision, and the powers to their life. But the one given to me was merely a heart replicated by Ohiasio's authority of truth manipulation. Because I have some understanding of her authority, I could tell from the beginning that this bastard was lying. From start to finish, I make sacrifices, Ohiasio makes sacrifices, all the beings of Mount Sumeru make sacrifices, and you don't sacrifice a damn thing. I thought maybe you'd at least be willing to wager your own life. But even that was a fake life created using Ohiasio's power. Without sacrificing a single thing, grinding down everything except yourself, you dare speak of goodness, dare speak of being king. I glare at Black Dragon with a furious expression. Don't make me laugh. That is no king. You will never become king. As I think of Seo Huiol, who once called himself the Sea Dragon King and in the end was ready to stake everything he had, I shout at this trash before me, who is even worse than him. Your disgusting plan will never be realized, for you will die by my hand. Huh, you've gone mad. No matter if you possess the phenomena extinguishing mantra and the flawless mantra, you are merely in a state of a spirit summoned into Ohiasio's domain. Yet to this great, true Lord Black Dragon, you dare. Kwaon. The next moment, I immediately rush at Black Dragon and grip their essence, then hurl them away violently. Black Dragon crashes into the Blood Sea, unable to even resist my strike. Why yang? Behind me, a pure white circle appears. Normally, achieving great completion in the flawless mantra causes a black circle to appear, but in my case, the color is completely opposite for some reason. Of course, it doesn't really matter. I have yet to cultivate the flawless mantra enough to get a truly satisfying answer, but you duck, you do to duck. Just like what white-winged heavenly Pegasus once did. The power of the flawless mantra, the result of my history that has defied the principles of the world, begins to reverse the power of this world inside the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea. The authority of the immortal cultivation system begins to be pushed out from this area. Ohiasio is startled, and Black Dragon widens their eyes. All that remains in this world is pure strength, technique, and heart. In an instant, I nullify the majority of this world's authorities, clenching my fist with a crack. I've fulfilled the minimum of 666 times. Black Dragon reveals their main body, but I can read the fear behind their gaze. It doesn't seem like they are of the same era as the Obsidian Devil Heavenly King, but it appears they have seen that being's power through history induction or similar means. That can't be. You didn't even do the handstand properly from halfway through. There's no way you could use that being's power properly. This immortal has even interfered so much. I've always been doing the handstand. I'm doing it even now. No matter what fate I am born under, no matter what power I am born with, living without forgetting my heart. That is my handstand. I shall show you the power of the God of Gods. Chapter 627, Royal Authority 3. The immortal cultivation system is pushed back. However, it seems Black Dragon has not spent their years as an immortal beast in vain. They begin to rise, revealing their true form. Kurururum. A massive dragon of darkness, seemingly capable of coiling around an entire galaxy, reveals their body above the corpse mountain blood sea. At a size like this, the sheer scale alone becomes a weapon. RTOC. Black Dragon opens their mouth in the sky at the same time. I kick off the blood sea and soar into the sky, landing atop the scales of Black Dragon, which now cover the entire sky. I press my hand against their body to begin activating an immortal art. Perhaps because immortal arts predate the immortal cultivation system, it activates without issue. Karuru. The jade of yin-yang and 5 elements begins gathering inside Black Dragon's body. The beam of light that's about to burst from Black Dragon's mouth extinguishes, and Black Dragon starts writhing in agony. Originally, the writhing alone would have been enough to annihilate a star cluster due to their size. But as the phenomena extinguishing mantra begins activating, Black Dragon's body starts to compress. Black Dragon tries to force explosions within their body to break out of the compression. But as soon as the power of the flawless mantra is added, Black Dragon begins to be compressed without resistance. Finally, compressed down to the size of a single planet, Black Dragon bears their fury and howls. You dare? It seems they are unleashing the full power of explosion that they've gained upon becoming a true lord. In this world where the immortal cultivation system has vanished, only 5 things remain possible. Immortal arts unfolded not through attraction force, but through pure heart. The fundamental power of explosion Black Dragon gained as an immortal beast. The power of the physical body obtained as an immortal beast. The authority of the origin essence gained as a true lord. And the unique energy system Black Dragon obtained during their time as a vestige liberation immortal. I've already embedded the phenomena extinguishing mantra inside their body to seal away both the power of explosion and the energy system, and even have the power of their physical body with the mantra. What remains is Black Dragon's immortal art, the power of the origin essence, and about half of their physical strength. And I glance toward Ohiasio. She wears an angry expression and appears to be manipulating the corpse mountain blood sea against me. But it's just an act. I notice that she's using this opportunity to pour tainted soul filling the heavens into Black Dragon with force. As expected from a disciple of the great mountain supreme deity, she's now able to unfold tainted soul filling the heavens through her heart alone. Since Ohiasio is only pretending to attack me while actually locking a shackle around Black Dragon's neck, I don't interfere with her and fly toward Black Dragon. Schweirick. Gripping the impermanent sword, I fly at Black Dragon and slice directly into their massive body. Black Dragon's divine blood splatters. But as soon as they are struck, Black Dragon shifts their posture in the void and lashes their long body toward me like a whip. Tukwang. Black Dragon spins instantly in the void and strikes me with their tail. Gioeoong. Ohiasio's corpse mountain blood sea space distorts and tears apart from the single strike. This places. Realizing where I've been flung, I click my tongue. Outside the twin holding heavenly domain. It's the inner sea. Without any prophecy, immortal art, or the help of Chi, Black Dragon tore through space-time using only the power of their physical body and hurled me all the way outside the heavenly domain. Immediately after, Black Dragon rides the chaotic currents of the inner sea and flies toward me, mouth agape. Geoyak. Quachiajijic. In an instant, with their mouth wide open, they snap their jaws shut, attempting to chew and devour my spirit. I wedge the impermanence sword between their teeth, barely managing to create a gap and resist. Even rotten, an immortal lord is still an immortal lord. Without prophecy, revision, authority, or immortal art, they are still able to match me blow for blow through pure close combat alone. Compared to ordinary true immortals, they seem to have overwhelmingly more combat experience. Kadudududuk. Black Dragon's biting force grows stronger, and as I feel the pressure on the impermanence sword increasing, I smile. This is an immortal lord. At that moment, Black Dragon's voice resounds. You say I am not a king. Quadaduk. You dare judge me? Tukwang. I slightly twist the power at the tip of the impermanence sword to deflect Black Dragon's biting force. In an instant, I slip free from Black Dragon's jaws, but they charge again, striking me with their front paw. I, who instantly crash into the dimensional barrier of the twin holding heavenly domain, arrive at Ohiasio's space within it. What's wrong with a little sacrifice? Black Dragon thrusts their horn forward and charges at me. Tung. I swing the impermanence sword and redirect their charge, but even the shockwave alone shakes my spirit. Every being in this Sumeru 3 Heaven's great 1,000 worlds lives by sacrificing others. They don't want to be sacrificed, and they live to survive. Black Dragon spins their body and whips at me with their massive frame. I swing my sword upward again, repelling their body. Among all the countless lives and beings, only the ones who trample the weak and stand at the peak reign and rule over all. What is wrong with that? Why is that not considered a king? Black Dragon flies rapidly around me, looking for an opening. Wherever they move, space fails to endure the impact, causing space-time to distort. Tuckwang, tuckwang, tuckwang. Black dragon continues circling me, attacking with their tail, front paws, hind legs, teeth, and horns. But not a single blow lands. I perfectly read the heart of Black Dragon expressed through triple divinity, and counter and deflect every intention they carry. To reign and rule. To reach safely without risking oneself. Where is the fault in that you dare speak such nonsense? Even if you have cultivated the flawless mantra and gained power, that does not make you right. Do not delude yourself. Kururum. Darkness begins to gather around Black Dragon. Murmur, murmur, murmur. A strange whisper echoes from somewhere. It's Black Dragon. That's a mantra. Black Dragon has begun reciting their own mantra. At the same time, the origin essence of Great Een that the Great Een true Lord Black Dragon has seized exerts its power upon the world. Black Dragon is completely engulfed in darkness, and the world of the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea begins to be shrouded in a dark sky. Along with it, Black Dragon becomes even faster. Keying. This is Black Dragon's Great Een is beginning to freeze time. Time gradually slows, and Black Dragon only becomes faster. Born as a snake, I cultivated with all my being to become a member of the demon race, gained recognition among the snake race, and to shed my skin and become a black snake revered by the snake race. I strived my entire life. I lacked talent and could not turn completely black. Still, I strived, and strived again. In the end, though I failed to become a black snake, I became an Amugi, then a true dragon, and succeeded in ascending. Black Dragon's body, upon close inspection, is not pure black but a faint dark blue hue. In that long passage of time that a mere young upper immortal like you could not possibly imagine, I clawed and crawled my way up and finally seized the seat of Great Een to become the Great Een true Lord. Life is but a continuation of struggle. To not have my life taken away, I have given it my all, and to not wager my life, to avoid risking it all, I have strived endlessly. And yet, for me to become king without sacrificing myself, what is so wrong about that? Qualong. Black Dragon's front paw slams into the flat of my impermanent sword. Their paw is severed, and from the shockwave, the sea within the space of the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea splits apart, and the mountains of corpses are cleaved. Considering that these aren't ordinary corpses, but rather a type of mantra made up of true immortals and equivalent beings, the power is overwhelming. I am king. I will become king. Even if I sacrifice others, even if I grind everything down, I will become king, reach the pinnacle, and reign. Someone like you has no right, none, to judge my failure. Jewing. The energy of Great Een freezes heaven, earth, and heavens above. Just what are you, to dare judge a king? My spirit freezes. Even the impermanence sword slows in its movements. Darkness begins to bind me. This is the power of the origin essence. This is the true power of an immortal lord. Black Dragon breathes in spirit energy and suppresses me with a glare. Can you truly answer? If those who struggle and strive do not become king, then who should be king? Black Dragon looks down at me, and as I look back at them, I smile. Uduk. The flawless mantra draws a resplendent circle behind me. The flawless mantra that expelled only the power of immortal cultivation at first, now begins to push away even the power of Great Een. Ududek. You. Black Dragon charges at me immediately, slamming me with their front paw, but having regained some freedom, I raise the impermanence sword and deflect them. I know you're kind. Black Dragon is greatly shocked, but I ignore their reaction and begin to unleash my power. Triple divinity begins to properly emerge. Tuckwang. I charge in an instant and strike down on Black Dragon from above. Black Dragon's upright head instantly slams into the frozen blood sea. In the ancient force realm of the sun and moon heavenly domain, there was a one called Jean Mayul. Unlike before, when I wrapped the impermanence sword around my body and recklessly swung my sword to test Black Dragon, I now begin to properly display martial arts. The guy was also someone who didn't hesitate to sacrifice others for the sake of reaching the peak. Quang. Quang. Black Dragon tries to retaliate while taking my attacks, but it's no use. I properly read their heart, either letting the attacks flow or avoiding them entirely as I unleash a barrage of strikes. But what that guy longed for at the very end, despite always chasing the greatest strength, was strength that did not require sacrifice, the power of his own. Kururum. With both legs, I stomp down onto Black Dragon's spine and continue speaking. And the power he longed for and finally obtained in his last moments was stronger than any power he had ever pursued until then. Qualong. With their body completely suppressed by me, Black Dragon is pinned beneath me and is embedded into one of the mountains of corpses. The royal authority you speak of, earned by sacrificing others and so-called effort, is nothing more than a sandcastle bound to be swept away before the strength attained through refining the self. So abandon your empty schemes. How? Can you be certain? Because, right now, you are crushed beneath my feet. Black Dragon falls silent for a moment, then starts laughing. How laughable. You dress it up nicely, but in the end, you can only speak this way because you are strong. Kijigik. I realize that my spirit is being pushed out from the corpse mountain blood sea. I am returning to the White Magnolia realm once more. Looking back, it seems Ohio has anticipated Black Dragon's defeat and has long prepared a spell to release me. I cannot accept it. You, who walk the Tao of Great Mountain and yet pretend to be clean, I cannot acknowledge you. You may be stepping on me now, but can you say the same before the Great Mountain Supreme Deity? This world, it is built upon sacrifice. The only difference is whether I am the one being sacrificed or not. Look at the Great Mountain Supreme Deity. In the end, only those who risk nothing and sacrifice others, only they, can reach the peak. Wu-wong. As I am expelled from the Corpse Mountain Blood Sea and return to my original place, I hear Black Dragon's final cry. This royal authority you argue for. Then what exactly does it mean? Answer me. You monster who defies the absolute truth of the world. You will regret not joining hands with me today. Whether you are the god of gods or the king of kings, no matter what power you have gained, I will make sure you regret it. Pat it. With that final cry, I return to the White Magnolia realm. My spirit returns again to my reincarnation at the integration stage, and within that body, I mull over Black Dragon's words. Thus, in my 666th reincarnation, I endlessly reflect on their words. It is not simply that Black Dragon's words left a deep impression. This is yes, because this is the foundation for understanding the power of the Great Mountain Supreme Deity. If sacrificing everything outside of oneself is stronger than refining the self, then what truly is a strong king? To find the answer, I begin throwing endless questions at myself. Chapter 628, Royal Authority 4. Time flows swiftly. Before I know it, I reach my 700th reincarnation. Now, I have fallen from the integration stage to a level of cultivation around the innate 4-axis stage. But even in that state, I endlessly recite the flawless mantra while standing on my hands, cultivating the flawless mantra. Yet unlike before, my handstand is one that resists the mantra trying to control me and defies the laws of the world. So to some extent, I am able to live a somewhat normal life and form connections. And, with each of those connections, my comrades always come find me and stay by my side. They become my family every time. In each and every life, I live with my comrades, and at the end of each life, I always offer myself as a sacrifice to strengthen the immortal crown I bestowed upon them. At the same time, I seek the answer to the question posed by Black Dragon, the answer that will refute the power of the Great Mountain Supreme Deity. I continue to ponder what it means to be king. How many more reincarnations pass like that? It is now the 750th cycle. Yana. Before I know it, my cultivation has now dropped to the innate heavenly being stage. I look at Kim Yun, who walks with me in this life as well, and ask, these days, everyone doesn't seem to be entering the White Magnolia realm. I read Kim Yun's Triple Divinity. The Triple Divinity merges and takes a form through intent, and I read that form of intent to understand her thoughts. Perhaps because it is a restriction personally placed by the Liberation Supreme Deity Bong Mayong. It is not easily readable even in this way, but recently, I've been able to perceive it faintly. I see. Black Dragon and Ohio, the two joined hands and are turning the entire twin holding heavenly domain into a complete mess, aren't they? Well, it's nothing too worrying. My cultivation of the flawless mantra seems to be approaching a bottleneck anyway. It's almost finished now, and once it's done, let's enter the stomach of the swallowing heaven supreme deity and hide there. At those words, Kim Yun looks at me for a moment, then puffs up her cheeks and stretches mine out. UGK what? You're saying we shouldn't go inside the swallowing heaven supreme deity's belly? That we should fight back? But rather than that, I'd prefer you all to stay safe. Aha, thank you. But like I said, once I finish my great net immortal advancement, let's go inside the swallowing heaven supreme deity. Because, with a dark expression, I recall the Radiance 8 Immortals. The power of the Radiance 8 Immortals that overwhelmed both the Heavenly Punishment Supreme Deity and the Liberation Supreme Deity. No matter how many times I think about it, it is a terrifying authority. I want to be with all of you for a long, long time. Truly, it's been a long time since I've lived this long with my comrades. I've even lost track of how many years it's been. I wonder if Young Hoon Hyung Nim is doing well. Probably, you say? Phew. It doesn't seem like he's completely gone. I wish I could see him. Young Hoon Hyung Nim. I sometimes chat idly with Kim Yun while sighing. Sometimes, I spar with Oh Hyunsuk and John Myung-hoon using only the power of the heavenly being stage. Sometimes, I retain my memories. Other times, without bothering to retrieve them, I simply live immersed in the role I was given at birth. Thus, the cycles pass quickly. Before I know it, even the 777th cycle, which Obsidian was said to have reached, passes by swiftly. 800th cycle. My cultivation falls to the nascent soul stage. 850th cycle. I am born at the core formation stage. 900th cycle. I am born at the chi building stage. 950th cycle. I am born at the chi refining stage. And from that point on, the expressions of my comrades begin to gradually darken. Kururum. I look up at my immortal crown that covers the white magnolia realm with a hardened face. In every single life, I offered my fortune and myself as a sacrificial offering, giving birth to immortal art, and with that power, I created the immortal crown that strengthens my comrades. Yet, despite all that, the attraction force of my comrades surrounding the white magnolia realm has been pierced, and the true immortals beyond the twin holding heavenly domain are exerting their influence. Black Dragon. Oh Hyesio. I frown as I recall the two of them. The number of heaven and earth upper immortals and great net immortals, their summoning, is gradually increasing. On top of that, this aura. Shiver. I flinch at the powerful force I feel beyond. There are at least two more beings at the level of an immortal lord. One is a massive black tiger that feels oddly familiar. The black tiger circles around the white magnolia realm and slams its front paws down across various parts of the realm. The other is a familiar face. Kuwung. White-winged heavenly Pegasus. A massive half-human, half-horse beast, its entire body covered in dense muscle, is pounding at the side of the white magnolia realm. Two immortal lords have answered Black Dragon's call. Damn it. Moreover, the recent situation seems to be getting even worse. Oh Hyunsuk has recently left for the Elephant Nose heavenly domain for a while. He said he had something to confirm related to Azure Tiger Saint, but there's still no sign of when he'll return. On top of that, due to the Great War unfolding in Radiance Hall, countless people are dying. As a result, Kong Min he seems to be incredibly busy due to her position as judge and will likely be unable to easily help us. In short, the White Magnolia realm is now being defended almost solely by John Myung-hoon and Kim Yun. Kururum. I narrow my eyes as I see the prophecies of my comrades, which blanket the White Magnolia realm, tremble. Just hold on a little longer. The more I cultivate the flawless mantra, the more proficient I become in the power of triple divinity, and through that, I am gradually getting a sense of my great net immortal advancement ritual. Thus, as I continue cultivating the flawless mantra, I cultivate triple divinity, understand life, and contemplate royal authority. 951st cycle. My cultivation falls to the 13th star of the Qi refining stage. 952nd cycle. 12th star of Qi refining. 953rd cycle. 11th star of Qi refining. 954th cycle. 970th cycle. At last, I am born with no cultivation at all, just as an ordinary mortal. Living a mortal life, I never forget my heart and experience the short life of a human. However, as the cycles continue to pass, finally, the 990th life, I am no longer born as a human. I am born as a dog. As a dog, I am raised in a human household. I guard that house and live a truly short life before I die. There isn't even a moment to ponder anything. The 991st cycle. I become a horse. As a horse pulling a cart, I spend my whole life hauling loads and serving humans until I die. The 992nd cycle. I am reincarnated as a female badger. Living an ordinary life as a badger, I meet a male badger, give birth, raise my cubs, and repeat this cycle, serving my young until I die. The 993rd cycle, the 994th cycle, and the 995th cycle. The 996th cycle, the 997th cycle, and the 998th cycle as well. In each life, I behave according to the body I am reincarnated into, and I do my best to survive within the limits of each existence. And before I know it, I reach the 999th cycle. What is a king? Holding on to that question, I open my eyes in a new life. In the 999th cycle, I am born as a deer. Is it because in my previous lives I constantly died, offering up my life and the fortune I had accumulated for the sake of my comrades? Gradually, my talents diminished, and the racial stats I was born with, or the characteristics inherent to the race, became increasingly trivial and inferior. And this 999th life, in which I am born as a deer, is precisely one of those. Puke. I am bumped and knocked aside by the shoulders of other deer. I am notably smaller than the others, and though I am a male, my antlers do not grow, perhaps due to some defect. I am completely cast aside in the society of deer. No doe or stag among the herd becomes close to me, and no one approaches me. So rather than trying to befriend the other deer, I focus solely on chewing over the question I have carried for so long. What is a king? Why must a king not plunder others? As I peacefully graze and dwell on such things. Step, step. Grrrr. My body trembles with instinctive fear. The countless deer, excluding myself, also tremble in terror. That's right. The king of this forest. A tiger has arrived. That tiger is one with pitch black hair, a black tiger. The black tiger looks around at our frozen bodies with serene dignity, then opens its mouth, growling. Though it is the language of tigers, we deer can understand it. Whether it's because it is a high-ranked tiger, or because its growl is halfway into the language of the demon race, I don't know. From now on, I am the king of this forest. We lower our heads toward the king of the forest, growling. I could eat you all right now, but I will not. I will eat only one deer a month. Instead, decide among yourselves which deer will be offered to me. Half transformed into the demon race, the tiger smacks its lips and leaves after conveying its will. Watching this, the deer gather for a meeting. How should we choose which deer will be eaten by the king of the forest? The method is simple. A lottery. We draw lots to decide which deer will be offered to the black tiger. And once a month, we offer a companion as sacrifice when the black tiger comes. Watching this, I ponder over the question of why the black tiger, called the king of the forest, is considered a king. Then one day, the black tiger arrives, and as usual, during the lottery in front of the black tiger, a female deer is chosen. So it's you today? Come forward. But unlike before, when those chosen would enter the tiger's jaws without complaint for the safety of the herd, this time, the doe begins to weep. O king of the forest, please do not eat me. There is a child in my belly. Even if not for me, this child is far too pitiful. The doe cries and pleads in the language of deer, and the black tiger lets out a snort. A promise is sacred, and yet you dare ask to break the promise and spare your life? O king, I beg you for mercy. My mercy is that I do not devour your entire herd right now. When you graze, do you talk to the grass and give it a chance before you tear it up? In the end, the doe stands before the tiger's jaws, tears falling. And why do I do it? I step forward in front of the doe. I feel the astonishment of countless deer. O king of the forest, I humbly beg of you, please spare this doe and take me instead. At my plea, the black tiger's pupils narrow into vertical slits as it glares at me. Are you telling me to break a sacred promise? That doe was chosen by lot, and the chosen deer is the one to be eaten by me. O great king of the forest. I lower my head toward the black tiger. Indeed, a promise is sacred, but is not the new life in that doe's belly, a life yet untouched by light, sacred as well? Please consider it as giving that new life a chance. At my words, the black tiger rises and glares at me. You speak of nonsense. The child in that doe's belly was fated to be eaten by me, and to be born with such a fate means it was a sinner who committed vice in its past life. Are you not defending a sinner? Suddenly wondering how a mere tiger, at most of the chi refining stage, knows of such things, I look up at the black tiger. It is at that moment. I forget my memories. I forget my name. I am just a deer, a malformed deer at that, a stag who is yet to grow antlers. Why do I stand before such a terrifying predator, speaking such words? I am filled with deep regret. But, though I regret it, the burning hearts in my chest push me forward. It's as if they are telling me there is no reason to lower my head. O king of the forest, I am nothing more than a mere deer. I do not understand what it is the king of the forest speaks of. However, even if this child had sinned in a previous life, if it is granted this life, could it not cleanse that sin? To deny even the slightest chance simply because of past sins, I believe that is too cruel. Rather, if the king of the forest grants this sinner the opportunity to cleanse its sins, grants them a new life, would that not be even more sacred than the promise we have made? The black tiger stares at me intently. Pitiful deer, bearing much in your heart, yet born with nothing. What are you, to speak such words before me, the king of the forest? Why must I, the king of the forest, concern myself with your words? I fall silent for a moment. When I look into the black tiger's eyes, I cannot remember who I used to be. I am but a mere deer. However, I am the one who makes a king a king. If the one before me is a king, then I am their subject. Every king is called such because they have subjects, and thus, I can stand proudly even before the king. Then, deer who makes a king, would it be permissible for me to devour you whole instead of that doe? Yes. Deer who makes a king, for the child in the belly of a doe you do not even know of. Why do you so carelessly offer your precious life? That is. Once more, I look up at the black tiger's eyes. When I first looked into those eyes, I had feared being nothing but a deer. But now, it is no longer so. As your majesty said, if there is such a thing as a past life, then when I too am reborn someday, and face the danger of being eaten the moment I am born, I would wish for someone to help me. You mean to say you offer your life for retribution that may or may not come? It will come. Hmm. Just as your majesty holds promises sacred and does not devour us all at once, and in return is provided with us every month. I too, for the sake of what I hold sacred, have given my body, and hence, I too shall be repaid. The black tiger stares at me for a moment, then speaks. Very well, deer who makes a king. I shall grant you mercy. I shall not eat you whole and take your life. Seeing your noble heart, I shall only tear off and eat one of your legs. With those words, the black tiger bites off one of my legs. For a mere deer like me, it brings unspeakable pain, yet I express my gratitude to the black tiger. Thank you. Be on your way. Whether it is a demon ability cast by the king of the forest, the leg that is torn off heals quickly. From that day on, I live on as a deer with one less leg. Daily life continues to repeat. Then one day, the same event happens again. Once more, a pregnant doe is selected by lot. O king of the forest, please have mercy. Please spare me. The doe sheds tears as she pleads to the king of the forest. Seeing this, I drag my 3 legs and step before the black tiger, making the same request as before. The black tiger looks at me and, without many words, ends it by biting off one of my hind legs. With my front left and rear right legs gone, I become a deer with only 2 legs. Several months pass. A few strong stags and does without fawns are eaten by the black tiger. Then, another certain month arrives. Once again, a pregnant doe draws the lot. O king, the doe weeps, and I naturally limp forward with my 2 legs. The black tiger looks at me and this time bites off my other hind leg. Now, without both hind legs, I am left with only one front leg. Fortunately, this forest is abundant. Even with a single leg, I am able to drag myself to eat grass, so I manage to survive. Another year passes. Now, I have become well known among the deer. No deer scorns or disregards me for lacking antlers anymore. All the young deer grow up hearing my story, and when I pass by dragging my body with one leg, they bow in respect. Before I know it, I become a deer who, with the most pitiful body, receives the most noble treatment. And one day, that day comes again. O king, a pregnant doe once again sheds tears as she pleads to the king. I, to offer my last remaining leg, drag this pitiful body forward on my single leg and stand before the king of the forest. O king of the forest, I thank you for the mercy you have shown time and time again. Please, give the child about to be born a chance, and take this old body in full. After all, once my last leg is gone, I will not be able to live on anyway. Then, the king of the forest, the black tiger, looks down at me and asks, Deer who makes a king, are you not afraid of death? Are you not afraid of having your life taken away? Even if there is another life, the you in the next life is not the you of now. It is not a continuation of you with your memories. That is certainly true. I acknowledge those words. However, I feel no fear. But I am truly not afraid. Because, even if I die today, the child I saved today will survive and live to have a life. And, among all the deer, my heart will remain. Even if I die, my heart will never disappear. Perhaps it will be within me in a future life, but it will also dwell within my family, the herd of deer, and continue to be passed on. Without a single lingering regret, I offer my neck to the black tiger. I will not disappear. O king, please take me. Deer who makes a king. I ask you one final thing. To you, what is a king? A king, I answer with the brightest smile a deer can make. A king is one who gives and receives. Your majesty became the king of the forest because you exchanged a promise with us. And in holding that promise sacred, and because you also honored us as sacred, did you not become our sanctity as well, O king? In your words, a king, in the end, is one who holds the other as sacred. For some reason, I feel as though the black tiger is smiling. Then, O deer who makes a king, as you truly hold your fellow deer sacred, and as you yourself are held sacred by them, the black tiger rises and cries out, Are you not then the king of deer? At those words, I look up at the black tiger. Then I look behind me. Behind me, countless deer who have heard my story and shown me respect bow their heads at my final moment. O king of deer, born in a pitiful form, I make you this promise. Since you have answered me what a king is, I shall, with you as the last, touch your herd no more. Thank you. Yes, O dear king, sleep in peace. Waduk, wadaduk, wadudaduk. And so, in the jaws of the black tiger, within the mouth of the king of the forest, I am slowly chewed to pieces and die in pain. And as I am chewed by its teeth, I recall something. Each time it bites down on me, a rush of memories from my life as a deer flashes before my eyes. The day it chewed my first leg, the day it chewed my second leg, the day it chewed my third leg, and today, as it chews my last leg along with my entire self. For some reason, through that stream of memories, I gain an unknown wisdom. In the flash of the day my first leg was torn, I gain wisdom of a name called Krita, Vik. In the flash of the day my second leg was torn, I gain wisdom of a name called Trita. In the flash of the day my third leg was torn, I gain wisdom of a name called Dvapara. In the final flashback, when my fourth leg and entire life are torn away, I gain wisdom of a name called Kali. And when I attain all that wisdom, I reclaim myself. Pat it. Snapping back to my senses, I realize I have finally returned to my main body and look around. Then, I hurriedly look down to the white magnolia realm to find the black tiger, who had brought a final close to my life as the deer king. I sweep through the entire white magnolia realm with my consciousness in search of the king of the forest. But, strangely, I cannot find the black tiger, nor even the forest of deer where I once lived. As if that entire life as a deer had been nothing more than a fleeting daydream. I see. At last, I understand everything. Then, the three exalted immortal lords knocking from beyond the white magnolia realm. White-winged heavenly Pegasus, black dragon, and a black tiger, seemingly forged from the darkness of the universe. I look up at the immortal beast Supreme Tiger. Kugugugugu. It was you. I noticed the essence of Supreme Tiger. In Supreme Tiger's eyes, there is none of the dizziness I saw in the king of the forest I once met. And yet, I realized that the two beings are fundamentally connected. That's right. The king of the forest I met was the former master of the flawless mantra, the god who created the twin holding heavenly domain, and at the same time, the very one who brought forth the swallowing heaven supreme deity. The lingering thought of the obsidian devil heavenly king. Realizing I had encountered the lingering thought of the obsidian devil heavenly king, I take a deep breath. Today, after 999 cycles, I have, at long last, truly brought the flawless mantra to great completion. Chapter 629, Royal Authority, 5. The reason I feel that I've truly achieved great completion in the flawless mantra isn't just for any particular reason. Pasasasasa. It's because the power of the swallowing heaven supreme deity, which had forcibly repeated my cultivation of the flawless mantra through the power of history induction until now, completely releases me. At the same time, I realize the true identity of the immortal beast Supreme Tiger. I see swallowing heaven supreme deity. The swallowing heaven supreme deity is neither a heaven immortal nor an earth immortal. They are simply a mass that formed amidst the devouring of all things by the power of the mantra and rose to the position of supreme deity, and thus they are both and neither at the same time. And it is foretold that mental fragmentation would befall a heaven-earth upper immortal. The immortal beast Supreme Tiger turns out to be one of the fragmented mental bodies of the swallowing heaven supreme deity. However, perhaps because the powers on both sides were not divided equally, the swallowing heaven supreme deity holds overwhelming power, while the side that feels more like a living being is Supreme Tiger. In essence, power resides in the swallowing heaven supreme deity, while life resides in Supreme Tiger. Did the lingering thought of the obsidian devil heavenly king reach out to me through Supreme Tiger? That is the only conclusion I can reach. And as I sense the will dwelling within the lingering thought of the obsidian devil heavenly king, I spread my arms. I see. With the 999th cycle, my cultivation of the flawless mantra has come to an end. And after facing my 999th death and awakening once more in my main body, I can say that I've ultimately undergone my 1000th reincarnation. 500 times of Yin pitch, 500 times of Yang pitch. The perfect harmony of Yang pitch and Yin pitch resonates from within me. Having more than enough to distribute 12 each to both sides of heaven-earth upper immortal, I feel immensely reassured. Now what remains is, at this point, where I have reached the peak of heaven-earth upper immortal, all that is left is to carry out the advancement ritual to become a great net immortal. Becoming a great net immortal. But, I look around. Where is everyone? It's when I'm scanning the various parts of the white magnolia realm. Master. Oh, isn't this Hong Fan? It feels like it's been a very long time since I last saw you. Hong Fan looks no different from before. Even his realm remains at the entering nirvana stage. Well, since I've been cultivating the flawless mantra, I haven't been able to keep accurate track of time. By any chance, do you know how many years it's been since I started cultivating the flawless? It's just when I'm about to continue speaking. Heck on. A refreshing sensation flows through my body as something is pulled out. It is the Northern Dipper Sealing Immortal Flag. I open my eyes wide at the sight of the Northern Dipper Sealing Immortal Flag being drawn out from my body. After one was forcibly extracted when I became the Immortal Beast Candle Shadow, there were 6. Now, one of its seals is undone again. Only 5 seals remain in the Northern Dipper Sealing Immortal Flag. Startled, I reach out my hand toward the extracted Northern Dipper Sealing Immortal Flag, and soon I realize the reason it was released. I see, the condition has been met. Though it can be forcibly extracted, originally, as Yeo once explained, The proper way is to connect to the Northern Dipper Ceiling Immortal flag and fulfill the conditions each one demands. And the release condition for this one is 1,000 or more reincarnations. I click my tongue at this insane condition. Now that I think about it, up until now it has only imposed minor restrictions on me and nothing too fundamental, so I've left it alone. But it's about time I start figuring out the release conditions. I breathe consciousness into the Northern Dipper Ceiling Immortal flags and uncover the release conditions for the 5 remaining flags. The release conditions for the 5 Northern Dipper Ceiling Immortal flags are as follows. First flag, destroy and recreate a heavenly domain while below the realm of Immortal Lord. Second, withstand each of the Radiance 8 Immortals' single strikes at least once in order. Third, obtain a clue to the coordinates in the outer sea where the Heavenly Venerable of Time resides. Fourth, challenge one of the Heavenly Venerables and their specialty and win. Fifth, while in the realm of a great net immortal, battle and defeat 3 supreme deities. All of them are utterly insane release conditions. Well, come to think of it, these are immortal treasures created to seal the vast, cold Heavenly Lord. Especially the 3rd to 5th conditions feel hopeless. No, since the 3rd could possibly be resolved with help from Yang Sung, Hien Mu, or the Heavenly Venerables of the underworld. In reality, the truly difficult ones are the 4th and 5th. At least the 5th Northern Dipper Ceiling Immortal flag does not require battling all 3 supreme deities simultaneously. As long as I find and challenge appropriate supreme deities one by one as a great net immortal, it's not entirely hopeless. Careeric. It's when I'm organizing my thoughts. The recently extracted Northern Dipper Ceiling Immortal flag, as if rewarding me for its removal, begins to bestow new wisdom upon me. As I read this wisdom, a strange feeling creeps over me. Is this a method to cross the outer sea? I see. The Northern Dipper 7 Heavenly Lords. If I succeed in unlocking the Northern Dipper Ceiling Immortal flags, they intend for me to find the Heavenly Venerable of Time, so they are giving me knowledge related to the outer sea. In any case, since the wisdom of crossing the outer sea itself isn't bad at all, I accept the knowledge and then read the flow of past time through the Northern Dipper Ceiling Immortal flag. And without needing to ask Hong Fan, I come to know how many years have passed since I began cultivating the flawless mantra. This is insane. 70 million years. Has it really been 70 million years, Hong Fan? Yes, master. At those words, I let out a silent sigh. Now I've fully surpassed the mental age of 100 million. First of all, do you know where the others are now? The other elders have currently gone over to the Elephant Nose Heavenly Domain. And Elder Kong Min He seems to be active in the deepest depths of the underworld. Kong Min He is expected, but the Elephant Nose Heavenly Domain? Kim Yun and John Myung-hoon too. Yes. Even if Hyun Suk Hyung Nim went off to investigate regarding Azure Tiger Saint. Why did the others go there? I'm not exactly sure myself. However, I was told that once Master's cultivation of the flawless mantra is complete, I should pass on a message. I accept something like a spirit stone from Hong Fan. At the same time, messages left by my comrades flow into my mind. I come to understand the situation. I see. Near the end of my flawless mantra cultivation, while I was repeatedly reincarnating as an animal, they received a message from Oh Hyun Suk. The content of the message is none other than this. His master, the owner of the Elephant Nose Heavenly Domain, the naming supreme deity Hyen Rang, discovered signs in the outer sea that Kim Young-hoon is attempting to return. And for Kim Young-hoon to return from the outer sea, the help of his fellow Enders is required. So Kim Yun and John Myung-hoon temporarily head to the Elephant Nose Heavenly Domain to assist in Kim Young-hoon's return. The naming supreme deity Hyen Rang. Why do they keep helping us? Is it perhaps because I suffered at the hands of the Liberation Supreme Deity? I don't feel entirely comfortable about their goodwill. Well, whatever. Since it's come to this, I might as well go see the others and find out more about the naming supreme deity. It's also been a while since I've seen Young-hoon Hyung-nim. With that thought, I look toward Hong Fan. By the way, Hong Fan, why have you maintained the entering nirvana stage for 70 million years? Well, it is nothing special. It's simply that at the present time, among Master's immortal treasures, there are no longer any mortal beings. In order for Master to freely exert influence in the lower realm, I believed it would be best to have at least one mortal immortal treasure, so I kept my realm as is. What? Then that means? Haha, yes. Please see for yourself. Hong Fan points toward the sky of the White Magnolia realm, filled with a hazy, white chaos. Where his hand points, familiar figures at an entirely unfamiliar realm are engaged in battle against incoming true immortals from beyond. Yeo Y, Hamjin Ui, my immortal treasures. During the long years I've been cultivating the flawless mantra, they've all succeeded in reaching the realm of upper immortal. Attached to each of their bodies are my immortal crowns, passed down by John Myung-hoon, Oh Hyun Suk, and Kim Yun. Drawing on the power of my immortal crowns, they are blocking the massive army of true immortals attempting to invade the inner parts of the White Magnolia realm. Hamjin, Uy, Yo. I shout loudly to my familiar immortal treasures and subordinates, and their faces brighten as they look at me. Master, Master, Teacher, why we I fly over and land beside them. Have you all been well? Ha goodness. You've all reached upper immortal. Haha, 70 million years is a long time after all. Even cowardly Yo managed to reach upper immortal after begging Elder Kong Minhee and making sure she wouldn't die. Perhaps from being together so long. It seems Uy now speaks casually with Yo. Yo coughs as if embarrassed and respectfully greets me. It has been a while, Master. I heard Master has been cultivating a powerful mantra. According to Uy, it's called the Flawless Mantra, but the only mantra I know is the Phenomena Extinguishing Mantra. She then scans me up and down with meaningful eyes. That being said, Master, you are still an upper immortal? Of course, compared to us who have only just reached it, Master's cultivation as an upper immortal is already complete. This Yo. She probably thinks my realm is lower than expected, and she doesn't understand the true power of the Flawless Mantra, so she's doubtful. Clicking my tongue inwardly, I consider that maybe it's better to string her up and beat her harshly whenever I think of her to keep her loyalty in check. I'll be undergoing the Great Net Immortal Advancement Ritual soon anyway, so don't worry. More importantly, Hamjin Yu. I smile gently as I look at Hamjin, who bows respectfully to me. Among my immortal treasures, Hamjin is the one whose growth stands out the most. You've grown splendidly. Thank you, teacher. Haha, what kind of teacher am I, abandoning his students for 70 million years? Still, it's good to see you've all grown safely. So, all of you chose the Heaven Upper Immortal path. Yes, the power of fate is the most intuitive and powerful, after all. I recommended it. Hong Fan walks up beside me and laughs heartily. Then, suddenly turning serious, he speaks. That aside, Master. Why? Did you suddenly destroy the colorless glass sword and the canvas of myriad forms and connections? It was frightening. As I understand it, they were practically Master's immortal treasure and immortal art. Are you all right? I didn't really explain that properly. But don't worry. The canvas of myriad forms and connections has not disappeared. Wu. I smile as I look at my immortal crowns attached to my immortal treasures. It simply took on a different form, becoming another sword and another immortal art. And through it, I will never lose my memories, so there's nothing to worry about. However, Hong Fan doesn't look convinced. Still, next time, I would appreciate at least a word of explanation. That canvas of myriad forms and connections, was it not basically you yourself, Master? As I understand it, my own form was also recorded within it. Yeah, you were right. I'm sorry. I didn't think it through enough. I should have realized you'd be shocked and explain things properly. No, it's fine. What's done is done. Don't worry too much, Hong Fan. I smile faintly and take out the Naragi from my waist. Even though its form has changed, and the essence of the immortal art now resides within my heart, it's not as though it can't be restored. Payarat, the Naragi, turned white and into salt crystal, emits light and scatters power throughout the White Magnolia realm's nebula, which had been eroded by the power of my colorless glass sword and the canvas of myriad forms and connections. Retrieve the power of the canvas of myriad forms and connections. Flower soul filling the heavens. Wayawak. Flower soul filling the heavens embeds into the Naragi as its medium. At the same time, infused with my power and will, the Naragi flies to the center of the white nebula and begins to draw it in. Because Flower Soul Filling the Heavens is the most effective when it comes to spells that infuse will and heart, I deliberately choose to use it. Chwerarak. Simultaneously, my winged garment unfolds and blocks the beings beyond the nebula. Kugagagugagu. Anyway, we've nearly finished all business here in the twin-holding heavenly domain. Now, let's wrap things up and head to the Elephant Nose heavenly domain. I begin absorbing the entire White Magnolia realm, filled with memories, into the Naragi imbued with the power of ancient force. The White Magnolia realm, which contains the entirety of the colorless glass sword and the canvas of myriad forms and connections, starts to converge around the Naragi. As the nebula fades, I spot hundreds, even thousands of true immortals who had been attempting to enter from the outside. The most noticeable among them is the immortal beast Supreme Tiger, who radiates a familiar will toward me. Next is the half-human, half-horse giant god boasting cosmic muscles, the main body of white-winged heavenly Pegasus. Lastly, there is the great true Lord Black Dragon, who shares an ill connection with me, and above their head, the projection of Ohiasio. Kugagugagu. I feel the power of Flower Soul filling the heavens, which had condensed the entire nebula behind me, returning to me. Centered on the Naragi, Flower Soul filling the heavens, looking like clouds of clumped white nebula, appear imbued with the power of both the canvas of myriad forms and connections and the colorless glass sword. I calmly extend my hand toward the compressed clumps of nebula to retrieve the Naraigi. Just then, Wayawak, my history, flower soul filling the heavens, and the remnants of the canvas of myriad forms and the colorless glass sword begin to resonate as they meet. At the same time, I feel flower soul filling the heavens completely fusing with the nebula. I realize what change is occurring within flower soul filling the heavens. As my history in the white magnolia realm is newly passed on to flower soul filling the heavens, flower soul filling the heavens is evolving. Its form changes, and I feel it fully embed itself into the Naraigi. Soon after, the appearance of flower soul filling the heavens is something familiar. It has taken the form of my 999th reincarnation of the flawless mantra. Its form has changed to that of the deer king from that time. White deer without antlers. That is the newly transformed form of flower soul filling the heavens. Chapter 630, Mastering the Mantra. As I watch this scene, I feel an emotion I can't quite grasp. Purple soul filling the heavens, which had undergone countless twists and turns, became flower soul filling the heavens, and now it has evolved once more. The remnants of the colorless glass sword and the canvas of myriad forms and connections, which I thought were no longer necessary due to their evolution into the immortal crown, have now merged with flower soul filling the heavens to take on a new form. In this world, there's not a single thing that is unnecessary. Even a single speck exists because it is needed in this world. From now on, this deer-shaped flower soul filling the heavens could be refined back into the canvas of myriad forms and connections, or used for another purpose. I gently stroke the deer for a moment, then absorb it into the Naraigi and fasten the Naraigi back to my waist. It's been a while, Black Dragon, and I am called White-Winged Heavenly Pegasus, the flower overseer under the Sao, tree heavenly venerable. I've been enjoying watching you cultivate the flawless mantra from the flower field. Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you, Elder Flower Overseer. I glance slightly toward Supreme Tiger. I see. Oh Hyesio must have poured a lot of tainted soul filling the heavens into the mindless Supreme Tiger, inputting commands to control them. It looks like she is barely managing to control them by refining a single corpse mountain blood sea into tainted soul filling the heavens. Because Supreme Tiger's power is so great, it looks like even a light push could unravel tainted soul filling the heavens. That precariousness is quite amusing to watch. Anyway, are all these many true immortals gathered here just to strike me down? Black Dragon looks down on me with arrogance and says, Indeed, you, having reached great completion in the flawless mantra and seeking to devour Mount Samaru, are a candidate of the Devil Heaven King. At the same time, it has been confirmed that you are the return of the vast cold heavenly lord, wanted by Radiance Hall. On top of that, it has been confirmed that you possess the phenomena extinguishing mantra, so you must also be connected to the great mountain supreme deity, who is currently reciting something called the Splitting Heaven Mantra. Obsidian Devil Heavenly King, Vast Cold Heavenly Lord, Great Mountain Supreme Deity. Learning the arts of even one of them is dangerous, but you are a being who has learned them all. Knowing of your existence, how could we possibly leave you be? I let out a hollow laugh and pointed at Hyesio. That one is a direct disciple of the Great Mountain Supreme Deity. Yet why are you letting her sit above your head and running? No, never mind. I sigh. Looking closely, I realize that all the true immortals gathered here, excluding White-Winged Heavenly Pegasus, are naturally infected with tainted soul filling the heavens. Though turning the infected into complete slaves like Sio Huiol is impossible, it seems possible to input a simple command, like making them ignore Ohyesio. Moreover, when Black Dragon fought me before, they were heavily infected by Ohaiso's tainted soul filling the heavens and were implanted with many commands, so they seem half enslaved to Ohyesio now. As for White-Winged Heavenly Pegasus, they don't seem even remotely interested in Ohyesio, with or without tainted soul filling the heavens. Realizing that no one will care even if I point out Ohyesio, I look at Black Dragon and speak. You talk about not being able to let me be and all that. But in the end, you've come to punish me simply because I didn't take your hand. Is that not so? So what if that's true? Is punishing you something to be ashamed of? There is no reason to hide it. I just wanted to make it clear. I look up at Black Dragon and signal to my immortal treasures with my eyes. The immortal treasures enter my body in an instant, and White-Winged Heavenly Pegasus, seemingly sensing something, begins to overlap their body with the Eastern Heaven Flower Field. They look ready to flee into the Eastern Heaven Flower Field, if necessary. Listen well, Black Dragon. You once asked me, what is a king? By what standard could a king dare be judged? With a solemn expression, I speak about the meaning of king, Wong. I have come to understand. A true king is not someone who only sacrifices others. nor are they merely a being who bends others through overwhelming violence. Black Dragon's eyes twitch at my words. Of course, your words stand true as well. Indeed, even if one does not stake themselves and sacrifices others to climb to the peak through effort, that too could be called a king. However, a true king does not end there. At best, this is an enlightenment I gained in the past life as a deer during my mortal days. Yet I shout with confidence that the enlightenment I gained as a lowly animal can still be properly conveyed even on a battlefield of true immortals. A king is one who cherishes others, one who gives and receives, and one who takes care of others. You believe that the sacrifices of the living beings of Mount Sumeru didn't matter in order to become a heavenly venerable Black Dragon. But if you truly are a king, then shouldn't you treasure them instead? I speak the heart I awakened as the deer king. A king is not one who stands at the peak. Ruling simply because they are strong and high above does not make one a king. A king is one who cherishes those beneath them, who has something to give and receive with them, who possesses the will to care of them. Every single speck of dust in this Mount Sumeru has a reason for its existence. There is not a single living being who is without value. Therefore, you, who cannot cherish even a speck, are unworthy to be this mountain's king, Black Dragon. Black Dragon glares down at me with displeasure and mutters, "Let me ask again. Can you say those words before the great mountain supreme deity?" "Of course. RTOC." I raise both hands high. White-winged heavenly Pegasus chuckles and immediately flees into the eastern heaven flower field. Apologies, but as my master told me to conserve power, this immortal shall withdraw. It seems white-winged heavenly Pegasus, being of the realm of severing heaven, senses the ominousness. I can say it. Keying. Within both of my palms, the jade of yin-yang and 5 elements begins to gather. Seeing this, the true immortals all begin to stir at once. Do not be shaken. Even if he uses the phenomena extinguishing mantra, he is still just an upper immortal. He can never produce the majesty of the great mountain supreme deity. Black Dragon hardens their expression as they try to calm the true immortals, and the face of Ohiasio, sitting on Black Dragon's head, grows rigid and stiff. Because a king who knows how to cherish all can definitely become stronger than the great mountain supreme deity. Keying. A brilliant white light begins to radiate from my palms. At the same time, my body begins to expand. Kururum. Wearing a white round collar robe from which countless glass swords protrude forth, with bare flesh composed of glass true fire, tails of mist extending from the robe's edges, and a pure white, 3 great ultimates circling behind my head. My true form descends upon this place. Do-do-do-do-do-do. The jade of yin-yang and 5 elements gathered within my hands begin to emit a resplendently brilliant light. The true immortals start to panic. Because attraction force is intensifying. Phenomena. Space-time begins to contract around me, extinguishing. Then, I begin to see countless threads of attraction force extending from me connecting to the many true immortals. Man, wait. What's going on, Black Dragon? We're being pulled in. In what world does that look like an upper immortal? Come up with a plan. However, no one can escape. Tra. Heaven, earth, and heavens above. My voice fills the entire world as I begin concentrating attraction force around the light within my palms. Compressing the heavenly domain itself is still somewhat difficult. But what if it's just true immortals? Especially the true immortals who have been incessantly pounding at my immortal treasures over the past tens of millions of years. Why yang? Editor. Read as Om Mani Padme Hum, often translated to praise to the jewel in the lotus. It's typically recited to purify negative karma and cultivate compassion. The retribution of the impermanence sword is enforced. The true immortals who have been pounding on us over the past tens of millions of years begin to be drawn in all at once by the attraction force of the phenomena extinguishing mantra. I still can't compress a heavenly domain into a single point. However, if retribution is enforced against those who bore malice toward us, then it's more than possible. Yes, if it's at this level, it's possible. Because I have succeeded in completely mastering the phenomena extinguishing mantra. Both phenomena extinguishing and flawlessness. Today, I have made them all mine. Keying. No one can escape, for I will not permit it. Be annihilated in full, you who tried to harm my family. Countless divine spirits try to flee from the phenomena extinguishing mantra, but it's futile. No one escapes. All are sucked and absorbed by the phenomena extinguishing mantra. The phenomena extinguishing mantra does not stop there. Distant spacetime, star clusters, galaxies begin to be drawn in. I don't need those. Pointlessly causing the living beings inside them to die is not preferable. Krita, grip. I speak the 4 wisdoms I obtained from the obsidian devil heavenly king. That is, I recite the 4 immortal arts. At the same time, The innocent living beings of the galaxy clusters, who are about to be absorbed by the phenomena extinguishing mantra, ascend all at once to Krita, one of the four great middle realms of the twin holding heavenly domain. Kadududududuk. Star clusters, nebulae, sea of stars, galaxies, and galaxy groups are ground and compressed into a single point by the phenomena extinguishing mantra. Even the many true immortals who had managed to escape far away are drawn in all at once and compressed into a single point. Kugagagugagu. The light exploding from between my two hands is overwhelming. Well, it's the compression and annihilation of thousands of true immortals at once. How could there not be such a massive release of light and heat? But within that light and heat, inside the overwhelming attraction force, I look upon the two beings who endure without fleeing. They are the immortal beast Supreme Tiger and the immortal beast Black Dragon. Supreme Tiger slowly enters the phenomena extinguishing mantra, as if they don't particularly intend to resist, but Black Dragon clenches their teeth and endures. They mutter and attempt to unleash the Great Een mantra, but even the Great Een mantra, which draws upon the origin essence of Great Een, is utterly devoured by the phenomena extinguishing mantra and rendered useless. Yet, perhaps because even Black Dragon cannot hold on forever, in the end, they begin to be dragged into the phenomena extinguishing mantra. And finally, Kurururum. Black Dragon's massive body begins to be sucked into the phenomena extinguishing mantra. It is over. Even as they are sucked into the phenomena extinguishing mantra, Black Dragon looks at me. In their final moment, Black Dragon only sighs. Am I not allowed to become king? With those final words, Black Dragon's massive body is completely sucked into the single point of the phenomena extinguishing mantra and is annihilated. Kugagagugagu. I breathe heavily, letting out a low groan at the overwhelming hegemonic force between my hands. It was only the method that was wrong. After acquiring the phenomena extinguishing mantra, I have finally succeeded in fully mastering it. Of course, I haven't completely shattered the prophecies and revisions of the true immortals, so in time, they will likely resurrect somewhere. But it will take a significant amount of time before that happens. Kururum. Gazing at the power surging between my hands, I speak. You seem to have something to say, Senior Ho-Woon. That's right. Ho-Woon, who has at some point reached Great Net Immortal, stands behind me, arms crossed. Revealing their true form, they mutter briefly. Truly terrifying. The phenomena extinguishing mantra. Indeed it is. Are you going to eat it? Ho-Woon asks while looking at the light compressed into a single point in my hands. Are you insane? That will never happen. In that case, now would be the best time. Hearing Ho-Woon's next words, I flinch in surprise. Not because of the content of their words, but because of the ice-cold intent contained in Ho-Woon's voice. If you won't consume it, then use it. Through it, begin your advancement to Great Net Immortal. Because this will be the final teaching this immortal imparts to you while alive. And so, my Great Net Immortal advancement begins. Chapter 631, Great Net Advancement. Kugagugum. The advancement to Great Net Immortal proceeds as follows. First, one transmits the power of their immortal Tao toward the worlds where they have either destroyed or created civilizations. Then, toward all worlds that possess civilizations in each heavenly domain. In other words, toward stars, decaying corpse realms, and middle realms, they invoke phenomena through their immortal Tao. Through those phenomena, one simultaneously elevates the cultivation of all living beings in the heavenly domains connected to them. If the immortal Tao of the mountain accumulates specs to build a great mountain, then the Great Net Immortal Advancement ritual overseen by the Great Mountain Supreme Deity is to scatter the self that has become a great mountain and distribute it to the insignificant specks of life. And if, during this process, the power to be distributed to the heavenly domains where one has cultivated as an upper immortal becomes insufficient, the entire body is forcibly scattered and absorbed into Mount Sumeru to be devoured by the Great Mountain Supreme Deity. This is the Great Net Immortal Advancement Ritual. Begin. Heeing. I trigger an explosion using the boundless light gathered in my palm as a medium. Quarong. The explosion spreads across the entire cosmic space. At the same time, the years I spent cultivating Yang Pitch and Een Pitch in the twin holding heavenly domain begin flashing before my eyes. The advancement to Great Net Immortal has begun, although I haven't been able to exert influence strongly across the entire heavenly domain. This should be enough. I revise. Quagwagwagwang. I use the phenomena extinguishing mantra I just unfolded as a medium. Regardless of anything, the phenomena extinguishing mantra is a mantra that affects the entire universe. Using the influence of the mantra that just affected the entire universe, I exert power across the entire twin holding heavenly domain, shake history with explosions, and revise it to my liking. In all places where intelligent races dwell, the mountains of this immortal shall rise. Kugugugugugu. At that very moment, the glass sword mountains within my body begin to appear above the countless stars of the twin, holding heavenly domain. Sword mountains rise. Above countless stars, across decaying corpse realms, within middle realms. It's when the entire twin holding heavenly domain feels as though it rests in the palm of my hand, and I am momentarily intoxicated by the omnipotence. Kururum. My physical body begins to scatter. I flinch in shock. This is the Great Mountain Supreme Deity. I understand it all too well. The Great Mountain Supreme Deity Guac Am has interfered with the advancement ritual. They are trying to devour me right now. Kugugugugu. Beyond the distant dark sky, across the outer sea, the endlessly spreading sea of chaos. Beyond the depths of that chaos, there lies a tiny world, a world at most the size of Earth. And within that tiny world resides the Great Mountain Supreme Deity. They are reaching out their hand. ISHALLDEVOURYOU. Jith thing. Crazy. The moment I connect with the consciousness of the Great Mountain Supreme Deity, I feel the same sensation I did when I looked directly at the heavenly venerable of the underworld and the emptiness Supreme Deity, like my eyes are about to burst. I writhe in agony. The Great Mountain Supreme Deity, completing the splitting heaven mantra, is now becoming an existence equal to underworld and emptiness. And no, as I am about to lose consciousness under the overwhelming pressure of the Great Mountain Supreme Deity, get a hold of yourself. Ho Woon's voice snaps me back. You? Think carefully. Have you ever experienced death in a place other than the twin holding heavenly domain? If not that, have you ever slain an upper immortal or above being somewhere else? If so, that too could count as upper immortal cultivation to some extent, so extend your power to that heavenly domain immediately. At those words, my eyes snap open. Have I experienced death in another place? Sun and Moon heavenly domain. Bearing tree heavenly domain. Good sight heavenly domain. Earth boundary heavenly domain. Twin holding heavenly domain. Before regression, I experienced death in 5. No, including the use of heavenly escape in the Heavenly King heavenly domain, 6 heavenly domains. And as for slaying upper immortal and above beings, I annihilated blood in the Sun and Moon heavenly domain, experienced death as an immortal beast in the Good Sight heavenly domain, and in the Earth boundary heavenly domain, I reincarnated beings of upper immortal and above into the recreated Earth. Would that count as killing too? In the twin holding heavenly domain, I just recently destroyed a few thousand true immortals, and I also committed a great massacre in the Heavenly King heavenly domain. Recalling all of that sends a cold sweat down my spine. Insane. If it's like this, could it be? I grip my teeth hard. It really feels like I'm receiving retribution for all the atrocities I committed while wandering here and there during regressions. Guawag. Sun and Moon heavenly domain. Heavenly King heavenly domain. Bearing tree heavenly domain. Earth boundary heavenly domain. Good sight heavenly domain. Twin holding heavenly domain. I transmit the explosion of revision to all 6 heavenly domains and squeeze out the power of my immortal Tao toward them. Scattering the immortal Tao across a single heavenly domain was bearable, but trying to scatter it across 6 entire heavenly domains makes my whole body feel like it's being wrung dry. It feels like I'm becoming Seo Unhyun vegetable juice. Guawa. Sun and Moon heavenly domain, the 5 middle realms. There, bizarre phenomena begin occurring at the homelands of each civilization. Kugugugugu. Suddenly, the celestial energy flips, and from beneath the earth, glass sword mountains begin to rise. All the sacred masters of the middle realms who see this are struck with immense shock, and Banta, who has served as a sacred master for 70 million years, roars in anguish, shedding tears of blood from grief and deprivation. At that moment, mountains begin rising simultaneously in all decaying corpse realms and stars across the entire Sun and Moon heavenly domain, excluding only the head realm. Heavenly King heavenly domain. There, the Radiance 8 immortals, who are sweeping away the true immortals of Radiance Hall, speak with expressions of disgust. Black Dragon, of all times, to leak our secret at such a critical moment and turn Radiance Hall against us. How bothersome. A deluded and foolish being. It does not matter. Once the Great Mountain Supreme Deity exerts their power, all the bridles of oppression, all the beings of the immortal family, they will be utterly annihilated. We just need to endure until then. Our long-cherished wish is nigh. The Radiance 8 immortals, calmly conversing as they massacre their former subordinates, appear almost as if they are out for a stroll. It is at that moment, the 5th seat of the Radiance 8 immortals, the Sword Spear Heavenly Lord, trembles all over. This aura? The Radiance 8 immortals simultaneously scan the Heavenly King heavenly domain. Something is happening. Although there are no middle realms or decaying corpse realms in the Heavenly King heavenly domain, the sheer number of living beings dwelling in its overwhelmingly numerous stellar systems is terrifying. Across the entire Heavenly King heavenly domain, sword mountains of glass begin to rise. Bearing Tree heavenly domain. Good Sight heavenly domain. It is the same in the Earth boundary heavenly domain as well. In all these worlds, either governed or currently governed by various supreme deities or heavenly venerables, glass sword mountains begin to rise in various places. Within the Heavenly King heavenly domain, the sword spear heavenly lord's eyes begin to gleam sharply. Someone is undergoing an advancement ritual. And if it is this immortal Tao of the mountain and this aura, without doubt, Kugugugugu. The sword spear heavenly lord murmurs as they gaze across the entirety of the trembling Mount Sumeru. It's you. Another mountain spirit is trying to be born within Mount Sumeru. Draw out your power. It's still far from over. I snap back to my senses at Ho Woon's rebuke. Peak. Though each of the rising glass sword mountains are small, even within a single heavenly domain, the sheer number of civilizations makes the term immeasurable, and 10 to the power of 68, feel insufficient. To channel my immortal Tao to every single one of those places and squeeze out power, I feel like I'm truly about to die. This is only the beginning. Clear your mind, and through the immortal Tao you have manifested, bestow divine grace upon the mortal beings. Hiya. Following Ho Woon's guidance, I begin rotating the pure white 3 great ultimates behind my head. Power begins to surge infinitely. Kugugugugu. However, even with such infinitely surging power, the mere fact that I must bestow divine grace upon immeasurable civilizations across 6 heavenly domains and elevate the cultivation of living beings who have endured kulpas, that alone feels utterly suffocating. Kurururum. The flawless mantra, called the power of the God of Gods. The phenomena-extinguishing mantra, which gathered and compressed true immortals. The power of the 2 mantras dwells within me. Through the power of these 2 mantras, I begin to draw out twilight true energy from my entire being. The infinite twilight true energy pulled from me flows in unison toward the mortal beings living in the 6 heavenly domains. Through the medium of my immortal Tao, the glass sword mountains, my power spreads across all 6 heavenly domains, and as I forcefully feed twilight true energy to the living beings, even the pure white 3 great ultimates, which had been endlessly exuding power, suddenly feels exhausted. My immortal body begins to shrivel and dry up like Seo Unhyun dried radish, transforming into something resembling a piece of bark. But at the same time, I begin to feel it. I can grasp it in one hand. The countless flows of power spread across all of Mount Sumeru. The directions of attraction force, the magnitude and quality of authority, all seem to fit within a single palm. Simultaneously, I feel my consciousness forcibly expanding. For an instant, having exhausted all my energy and embodied emptiness, my spirit forcibly grows. This is where once I had to use immortal art to observe. Now I perceive Mount Sumeru as if it sits in the palm of my hand. The 9 heavenly domains, and the 4 dimensions that exist outside of Mount Sumeru. The underworld, the interdimensional void, the source river, the eastern heaven flower field. I begin to sense them. I flinch in surprise as I perceive the locations of the 4 dimensions, but now is not the time to focus on that. Now we have arrived. Have you scattered your immortal Tao and your power upon all the lands you have tread? I nod weakly. That will become your great net. Now then, if you have cast the net, it is time to reel it in. Ho Woon commands with their eyes gleaming. This is the final step. Those of the lower realm whose cultivation have grown by consuming your twilight true energy, reel them into your body. Kugugugugu. At that moment, I feel an immense attraction force fall into my grasp. It is an attraction force capable of acting on all of Mount Sumeru. What in the world is this? But there is no time to be amazed. They're coming. Among the mortal beings whose cultivation suddenly advanced due to the opportunity given by me. Those greatly affected by my twilight true energy and have reached the heavenly being stage, grand perfection heavenly being stage, or even the 4-axis stage, begin to ascend. I extend the attraction force toward the cultivators ascending from the 6 heavenly domains, and fully open my immortal body, now completely exhausted and in a state of emptiness. Come, children, to the embrace of this immortal. Originally, those from the Sun and Moon heavenly domain shouldn't be able to come due to the blockade of Radiance Hall. But perhaps because Radiance Hall is now plunged into great chaos, even those from the Sun and Moon heavenly domain begin to rush into my embrace. The essence of the great net immortal advancement ritual is the opening of a middle realm. Become the middle realm yourself. Become the foundation upon which the living beings will live. Offer your body to them. Let them feed upon you, and help them ascend the heavenly path. That shall be your new duty from now on. The moment the living beings ascend into my immortal body and take their first steps, Aoag, I feel that my domain has been firmly engraved into the true immortal realm. At the same time, I become aware that from now on, the entirety of Mount Sumeru, especially the 6 heavenly domains, has become more attuned to me, making it easier to exert attraction force toward them. Seizing a part of the true immortal realm as my domain, I feel a powerful exaltation as my very existence etches itself into the Sumeru 3 heaven's great 1,000 worlds, and I cry out in joy. At my roar, those who have just ascended prostrate toward the sky, trembling as they bow, and I grant them revelation so they may live within the middle realm that exists inside my body, the crystal glass realm, the 1,004th cycle of regression, and the 1,000th cycle of reincarnation. After 80 million years of real time, 100 million years of perceived time, at long last, I have succeeded in rising to great net through the Tao of Earth.